Chapter 2093. Hong Tian's lies had successfully incited a war between the major sects and the Black Demon Clan. Suddenly, a dozen figures flew out from the crowd. By the time the cultivators reacted, the space halfway up Demon Mountain number 2 was already surrounded by over 100 people. Who are those people? What are they trying to do? Oh my God, these are the sect leaders and grand elders of Shanghai's 7 stars, or even 8 stars sects. They should be trying to break through the second Devil Peak. There's an ancient defensive array on Demon Mountain number 2. Even if they work together, they might not be able to break it. The sect master of the major sect, Thunder King. The sect master of the major sect, Sky Demon Sect, Nye Yuan. The number 1 loose cultivator in Demon City, Dark Demon Jin Bei. The sect master of the major sect, Demon Sovereign North. When the identities of the cultivators were revealed, the crowd burst into an uproar. This was a gathering of almost half of the top forces in Demon City. Rumble. A loud sound suddenly rang out in the sky. Over 100 experts attacked at the same time. Sword light filled the sky, enveloping the waist of Demon Mountain number 2. The entire mountain seemed to shake. A layer of light barrier appeared, and when true essence collided with it, layers of ripples were formed. Brother Nye Yuan, are you sure the array core is at the waist of the mountain? Thunder King asked through his divine sense. Brother Thunder King, don't worry. Although I can't set up an ancient formation, I am at the level of an array king. Finding the array core of this ancient defensive array is not an issue. The few of them understood the situation of the Sky Demon Sect. It was the strongest formation sect in Demon City. The sect master, Nye Yuan, had comprehended the level of a level 7 array king. He was known as the number 1 formation master in Demon City. Nye Yuan's words reassured everyone. They spared no effort in attacking the magic arrays on the mountainside. Wave after wave of ferocious attacks shook heaven and earth. The cultivators standing at the foot of the mountain could feel the ground quaking violently. In fact, cracks had even appeared on the ground. Father, what is going on? Is there an earthquake? Inside Demon Mountain number 2, the shaking became even more intense. Hong Shenwu could not even stand, and her body was about to be flung out. Hong Ming opened her eyes and looked at the sky. Her expression instantly changed. Not good. The second Devil Peaks formation has been severely damaged. There should be someone attacking the formation core from outside the peak. If the formation core is really destroyed, the second Devil Peak will become the territory of other forces. Qin Fan had already guessed this. He had said that Hong Ming's biggest obstacle in breaking through to the true form realm was not cultivation resources, but external interference. Both of his guesses have been verified. Not long ago, it was Hong Su, Hong Tian, and the others who had come to kill Hong Ming. Now, it was the various factions of Demonic City who had joined forces to attack the second demonic peak. Father, wasn't there an ancient defensive formation left behind by the Red Devil ancestor back then on this demon peak? Could it be that it can even destroy an ancient grand formation? Hong Shenwu's expression was one of confusion. I'm not too sure either. Perhaps there are too many factions joining forces this time, and a formation left behind by Ancestor Red Devil has been around for too long. The aura of the formation is no longer what it used to be. Hong Ming added, Young hero Qin, take Hong Shenwu and leave the second Devil Peak first. Find a safe place to hide. After I settle things here, I will come and find you. Qin Fan knew what Hong Ming was thinking. If the second Devil Peak's array formation was really destroyed, this place would become hell. The clansmen of the Mystic Demon Clan would either choose to be slaves or die. As the current Demon King of the Mystic Demon Clan, Hong Ming naturally could not yield to outsiders. If he did, he would most likely die a tragic death on the mountain. He would not have the chance to find Hong Chanwu and Qin Fan after this. Father, I don't want to leave you behind. I want to stay by your side. Hong Shenwu was smart and could see the crux of the matter. Silly girl, leave this place with young hero Qin quickly. Even if you're not afraid of death, you can't implicate him, right? Hong Ming's words hit her daughter's heart. Hong Chunwu was in a dilemma. Before she could make a final decision, Qin Fan leaped into the air and scattered countless array flags in his hands. These array flags floated on the mountainside and formed a faintly discernible light door. Young hero Qin, what is this? Hong Ming asked in surprise. This is the array core that the people outside are attacking. As long as the array core is destroyed, this defensive array will collapse very quickly. Qin Fan explained quickly. The two of them were shocked. Qin Fan could even find the array core of the ancient array. It was clear that his identity as the array king was not just for show. However, very quickly, the two of them revealed extremely serious expressions. If it was really as Qin Fan said, and the various forces outside had found this array core, then the ancient defensive array of the second Devil Peak would definitely be destroyed. Young hero Qin, hurry and take Shen Wu away. After Hong Ming learned of the severity of the situation, his eyes were filled with pleading. Qin Fan had already placed the heaven bell in midair. The mouth of the bell faced the floating array door. Senior Hong Ming, there is no need to say any more. Just focus on your tribulation. I will think of a way to stop the outsiders. Hong Ming was extremely grateful. He could see the determination on Qin Fan's face. He knew that there was no point in trying to persuade him, so he simply started to break through with all his might. 5 minutes later, there was a rumble in the sky. However, it was not caused by the Thunder King and the others attacking the array outside. Instead, it was a new lightning tribulation descending. Whoosh! First, a blazing white lightning bolt tore through the clouds and swooped down like a giant dragon. Closely after, another 7 or 8 lightning bolts descended, not giving anyone a chance to catch their breath. The 9 lightning bolts seemed to form a line in the sky, forming a magnificent and beautiful scene outside the second Devil Peak. The cultivators watching at the foot of the mountain were dumbfounded. Even the Thunder King and the others, who were attacking fiercely halfway up the mountain, stopped. This is a new lightning tribulation. The Red Ming Fiend King is still undergoing tribulation. He has not reached the true form realm. The spirit rain is falling. This time, the spirit rain is even more intense than before. The lightning bolts pierce through the sky and earth, splitting the spirit clouds into 2. Heavy rain poured down from the clouds on both sides. Only the second Devil Peak's peak was in the cracked space of the spirit rain. It was a clear scene. No one was in the mood to admire this spectacular scene. Most of the cultivators were already sitting cross-legged, using the abundant spirit chi in the spirit rain to increase their cultivation level. The Thunder King and the others were shocked by this spirit rain. There were a few true form realm mighty figures among them, but the previous lightning tribulations triggered when they broke through to the true form realm had not been this exaggerated. Brother Thunder King, is this the true form realm lightning tribulation? Sky Fiend sect leader Nye Yuan asked with his spiritual sense. The Thunder King said uncertainly, I don't know either. Anyway, the true form realm lightning tribulation I triggered back then was not this fierce, and the spirit rain was not this abundant. Should we stop attacking and absorb the spiritual rain first? Someone was getting restless. The number 1 itinerant cultivator of Demonic City, the dark demon Jean Bei, sneered. Oof, it's just a spirit rain. Why are you guys so tempted? Aren't you afraid that the other fiendish cultivators will laugh at you? Everyone, don't just stand there. The spirit rain is repairing the array that we broke. At this rate, all our attacks will be for nothing in 5 minutes. After hearing what the Jean Bei said, everyone realized that the crack on the array was healing rapidly. The Thunder King was the first to strike with his palm. A huge quintessential essence handprint descended from the sky. The surface of the handprint was entwined with ferocious lightning, which was daunting. When the palm landed, a violent explosion was heard from the array eye. The array screen started to ripple like the surface of the sea. Everyone, continue attacking the array eye. Since Hong Ming has not reached the true form realm, killing him will be a piece of cake. The Thunder King's voice reverberated in everyone's mind. The group of mighty figures started attacking the array eye again, completely ignoring the spirit rain that was falling. Countless cultivators sat cross-legged outside the second demon peak, absorbing the spirit chi in the spirit rain like crazy. Rumble. Deafening thunder rumbled in the Demon Peak Valley. Qianfen immediately threw out array flags and guided the lightning into the thunder storage array. When the lightning source in the array was full, he threw in an energy tank and turned the lightning source into the 100-mile light sniper array. A small energy tank was quickly filled. At that moment, the second wave of thunder tribulation gradually subsided. Qianfen looked at the thunder storage array that was full of lightning sources and felt uneasy. If these thunder storage arrays were detonated, there would be no chance of survival in the entire second Demon Peak Valley. Hong Chenwu was once again shocked by Qianfen's magical means. The destructive lightning aura seemed to be neutralized with a wave of his hand. Hongming was dumbfounded. He had prepared himself for this wave of thunder tribulation, but he realized that not a single lightning bolt had landed on him. An hour later, the third and fourth wave of thunder tribulation landed at the same time. Qianfen took the opportunity to set up more than 30 thunder storage arrays and barely blocked the power of these two waves of thunder tribulation. 2 hours later, the fifth, sixth, and seventh wave of thunder tribulation landed one after another. By then, the thunder storage array was full of lightning. Qianfen could only keep the array in the astral realm. If the row of thunder storage arrays was detonated in the valley, even a Zenith Heaven Immortal would not be able to save them. Brother Thunder King, the array I has loosened. If I'm not wrong, we will be able to break the array in half an hour. Nie Yuan used his divine sense to shout. This news immediately made everyone more alert. In the sky above the second Devil Peak, hundreds of supreme experts launched a series of fierce attacks without stopping. Don't underestimate the attack that lasted for more than 4 hours. The amount of true essence consumed was terrifying. Some tripod Ekiana powerful figures seemed exhausted. Even disaster transformation realm powerful figures felt their quintessential essence weakening. However, the Thunder King and the other true form leaders did not change their expressions. Only they knew that a small portion of the quintessential essence in their bodies had been used up. Such a fierce attack was finally effective. After some time, there was a sudden loud sound in the sky above the mountain. The sound even covered the deafening thunder, scaring the tens of thousands of cultivators who were in seclusion at the foot of the Demon Peak and making them look up. What happened? Damn! The ancient formation on Devil Mountain No. 2 has been destroyed. The array was really broken. The power of these top powerful figures is really terrifying. Spirit rain fell. However, there were very few people who could still calm down and cultivate in seclusion. Many people rushed towards the second Demon Peak, wanting to enter and find out what was going on. This was the most famous Demon Peak in the entire demonic city apart from the first Demon Peak. No fiendish cultivator disciple could resist its temptation. Chapter 2094. A few breaths later, thousands of figures flew over from the Demon Peak. Suddenly, there was a loud noise, and a dazzling white light shot out from the broken array eye, making it hard for people to open their eyes. What is that? What a terrifying aura. Lightning tribulation. The lightning tribulation flew out from Demon Peak No. 2. Run for your lives, rumble. The scorching white lightning flashed and broke through the Demon Peak, causing an intense explosion. It seemed to form a huge electric net that enveloped all the cultivators around the mountain. In the sea of lightning, lightning crisscrossed and a violent aura surged. Everywhere it went, there were heart-wrenching screams of cultivators. Cultivators below the Void Spirit Realm were instantly turned into ashes. Even Void Spirit Realm powerful venerables could not last more than 3 breaths under the sea of lightning. As for body condensation state experts, they escaped with serious injuries. Those who were unlucky also died on the spot. Only mighty beings above the cauldron-filling state reacted immediately and temporarily avoided the attack of the sea of lightning. What's going on? Hongming broke through to the true form realm. Thunder King and the rest were the closest to the Demon Peak, but they became the few cultivators who could escape from the sea of lightning. The few of them stared at the lightning bolts shooting out from the eye of the formation with solemn expressions on their faces. Under such a ferocious attack of lightning, even they did not dare to approach it. Hongming has not reached the true form realm. I have been counting his lightning tribulation. He still needs 9 more lightning bolts to successfully break through, said Demon Venerable Northdark. If Hongming has not broken through to the true form realm, who released this sea of lightning? Everyone looked at each other. They could not guess the situation inside Demon Peak number 2. The Black Demon Clan was not as powerful as before. Hongming was the leader, but he was only at the peak of the disaster transformation state. There would not be anyone more powerful than Hongming in the entire Demon Peak number 2. However, the Sea of Lightning was comparable to the power of a true form mighty being. It was unbelievable. The formation on Demon Peak number 2 has been broken, but there is a lightning strike. What should we do? Nye Yuan asked. Everyone was silent. They could not think of a good idea in a short time. Now, there seemed to be only 2 choices. One was to find another array eye and destroy it, and the other was to fight his way through the Sea of Lightning. When they looked at the thousands of cultivators in the lightning sea, they immediately gave up on the idea of charging in. This was the powerful attack of a truth realization state cultivator. It wasn't so easy to survive. Rumble. Several seconds later, the Thunder Sovereign and the others rejoiced that they had not entered the Sea of Lightning on impulse. It turned out that the first few bolts of lightning were just the beginning. More than a dozen bolts of lightning were shot out from the eye of the formation. Each bolt of lightning was as thick as a human's waist. They surged with an aura that could destroy heaven and earth, shrouding the entire second Devil Peak in a sea of lightning. Qin Feng, will Father be all right? In the demonic mountain valley, the last 2 bolts of lightning struck down violently. The weather changed and thunder clouds rolled. It was as if the sky above their heads was filled with lightning. Hong Chenwu had never seen such a terrifying scene. She was very worried about her father's safety. She was afraid that not only would her father fail to break through to the true form realm, but he would also die in the Sea of Lightning. Even if Qin Feng had some backup plans, he had no intention of helping Hongming resist the last 2 waves of lightning. This was because the lightning tribulation was the most basic test for a cultivator. If all the lightning tribulations were blocked, it would be difficult for the cultivator's body to be tempered and break through. Even if they managed to break through in the end, their cultivation level would fall behind cultivators of the same level. Of course, Hongming understood Qin Feng's intentions. He nodded at Qin Feng and gave him a reassuring look. Then, he began to fully focus on transcending the tribulation. In the last 2 waves of lightning, 9 bolts of lightning struck out. They were more powerful than the previous waves. When the 9 bolts of lightning struck, the 6 quintessential artifact armors on Hongming's body were instantly destroyed. Dozens of spirit artifact armors also turned to dust. While Qin Feng was impressed by Hongming's rich resources, he was also worried for him. Even he hadn't expected that the last 2 waves of 9 bolts of lightning would strike at the same time. This could be said to be a destructive attack. When all the armors on Hongming's body shattered, he could only brace himself and circulate his quintessential essence to resist. However, the quintessential essence shield had only appeared for half a second before it instantly shattered and scattered all over the ground like glass shards. Rumble. The force of the lightning exploded on Hongming's body. It was as if it had struck a huge rock. Hongming was instantly sent flying into the sky. His body swayed unsteadily like a kite with a broken string. He spat out blood in midair. The scene was frightening. Father! Hong Chun Wu cried loudly. She wanted to fly over and chase after her father, but she was held back by Qin Feng. Chen Wu, we can't go over. Senior Hongming has to be reborn in the lightning tribulation. Otherwise, it will be meaningless even if he reaches the true form realm. But Hong Chenwu was still worried. Qin Feng hugged her in his arms and comforted her. Don't be afraid. Senior Hongming's cultivation foundation is stable. He will definitely be able to withstand this lightning tribulation. The 2 of them could only watch from afar. They wanted to, but they were powerless. Hongming's body was suspended in midair. The 9 bolts of lightning kept striking down like the whips of the thunder god. Every bolt of lightning was deafening. Hongming's body was riddled with holes, and his skin was charred black. However, his aura was still there. Moreover, it was becoming increasingly powerful. It's done. Chun Wu, Senior Hongming has successfully broken through. Moments later, Qin Feng suddenly exclaimed. When his spirit sense scanned Hongming again, he captured a trace of an unfamiliar aura from Hongming's body. That aura rapidly expanded and eventually spread throughout Hongming's meridians and blood. It was like a slowly flowing stream, but also like the calm sea before storm. Rumble, rumble. Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, dull sounds kept coming from Hongming's body. His body that had been blasted apart was rapidly healing. His charred skin fell off, and new skin that was as white and tender as a baby's appeared. His gray-white hair also grew back, becoming black and supple. Qin Feng and Hong Chunwu were dumbfounded. This was the first time they had seen a true form realm breakthrough. This was not just a leap in cultivation realm. It was also a rebirth of the body. The thunder in the sky gradually faded away. The lightning clouds dissipated, the lightning bolts dimmed, and the pouring spirit rain stopped. The expressions of the cultivators outside the demon peak changed as they discussed. The spirit rain is gone, and so is the lightning tribulation. He broke through. Hongming Demon King must have broken through to the true form realm this time. Hongming reached the true form realm today, but the ancient formation on Demon Peak number 2 was destroyed. Hongming will definitely be furious when he comes out of seclusion. An unprecedented battle will happen. Whoosh! Just as the cultivators were discussing, a scorching white light appeared above the demon peak. The light was extremely dazzling, obstructing everyone's vision. There's a lightning tribulation? A cultivator exclaimed. This isn't a lightning tribulation. A mighty figure has descended. Such a powerful aura. This is definitely a true form mighty figure. That light figure floated above the peak of Demon Peak number 2. The other party did nothing but floated in the air. The powerful aura emitted from his body had already suppressed everyone. Even the Thunder Monarch and the rest became vigilant. When their spirit senses scanned the other party, their expressions changed drastically. Hong Tiango, you scum. Today, I will clean up the sect in front of everyone and eradicate you. An old voice came from the top of the mountain. It was a very familiar voice. The 100,000 cultivators' expressions were unfathomable, while Hong Tian's eyes were filled with terror. He immediately tried to escape on his flying sword. Just as he charged into the sky, a white beam flashed and hit his body. Rumble. It was a lightning attack that instantly struck Hong Tian to the ground. The ground sank into a huge pit, and thick smoke billowed. The scene made everyone's hearts tremble. That's Hongming Demon King. It seems like he really reached the true form stage. A true form cultivator is actually this terrifying. Even a disaster transformation peak mighty figure can't fight back. Hongming's light palm shocked everyone, proving to everyone the power of a true form mighty figure. Hong Tian lay in the pit. It was difficult for him to even get up. His body had been blasted into a bloody mess, and his life aura was rapidly fading. A white light flashed in the sky. When everyone saw Hongming again, he was already standing at the edge of the huge pit at the foot of the mountain. He landed like a meteorite, kicking up a wave of dust. A few elders of the Mystic Demon Clan were sent flying into the air. Before they could even land, they were killed by Hongming in front of everyone. Hong Tian, if you hadn't poisoned the true form pill and caused me to fail in my breakthrough, I would have reached the true form stage a long time ago. I haven't even settled the score with you for what happened last time. How dare you join forces with third brother to kill me? Do you really think that I, Hongming, am a pushover? Hongming couldn't even be bothered to look at the elders who had been blasted to death. His cold gaze landed on Hong Tian in the pit. No one wanted to see brothers kill each other. However, since Hong Tian and Hong Su had the intention to kill, Hongming would definitely not let these people go. The aura of death filled the pit. Hong Tian felt that he could disappear from the Divine Supreme mainland at any time. When life and death were right in front of him, Even a disaster transformation peak Hong Tian felt fear. Big brother, it's my fault this time. I hope that big brother will let me go. I promise that I will do anything in the future to repay big brother's kindness. Hong Tian pleaded with all his might. Hong Ming's face was as cold as ice. His killing intent did not waver at all. Hong Tian hurriedly shouted, "Big brother, now that the second Demon Mountains formation has been broken, all the sects in the city are eyeing us. The Black Demon Clan is lacking people. Big brother, you can't kill me. Otherwise, the Black Demon Clan will cease to exist. Even if we lack people, we don't need traitors." Rumble. As Hong Ming roared, he struck with his hand. The white light on his body was the lightning tribulation that had not been completely absorbed. When the lightning fell to the ground, Hong Tian exploded into pieces. As for the golden light that escaped from the ruins, it was also crushed by Hong Ming's vital essence giant hand. Another disaster transformation peak master had died. This was something that had never happened in the past 100 years in the city. In the eyes of ordinary cultivators, as long as they reached the disaster transformation stage, they would be invincible in the West Ocean continent. Today I, Hong Ming, have reached the true form stage. I will clean up the sect in front of everyone. This is the Black Demon Clan's business. Those who have no business here should leave immediately. Otherwise, we will treat it as a provocation to the Black Demon Clan. After killing Hong Tian, Hong Ming did not show many changes in her emotions. He looked around, and his voice exploded in everyone's mind like thunder. Chapter 2095. The 100,000 cultivators were shaken. They felt as insignificant as ants in the face of the fury of a true form-mighty cultivator. Many people had already left, but even more people were hiding on a mountain peaks thousands of meters away, wanting to peek at the progress of the situation. These people had guessed correctly. The top powers of Demonic City had not retreated. More than 100 powerful venerables, led by the Thunder King and the other two true form-mighty cultivators, confronted Hong Ming. The aura surging from their bodies seemed to be able to destroy the world, creating a violent hurricane outside the second Demon Peak. At that moment, the people who flew out of the Demon Peak were all cultivators of the Mystic Demon Clan. Although their cultivation levels were not as strong as the Thunder King's team, they were still a force that could not be ignored. Thunder King, it seems like you're looking for trouble? Hong Ming's expression did not change in the face of the powerful Venerable's attacks. Lightning flowed around the Thunder King's body, and his voice was like thunder. Brother Hong Ming, the Mystic Demon Clan has not been worthy of occupying the second Demon Peak for a long time. If you're willing to give up the Demon Peak, I can consider sparing your life. This is the treasured land that Hong and I occupied back then. Unless you step over my dead body, don't even think about occupying the second Demon Peak. Hong Imo did not back down. The Thunder King's expression was cold, and a lightning on his body dazzled. Suddenly, he struck with his palm, and a lightning bolt flew out like a long dragon. Whoosh! The sea of lightning surged. The white lightning bolt instantly tore through the void and landed on Hong Mo's head. However, Hong Mo's expression was indifferent. He raised his hand, and a lightning bolt as thick as a human's waist shot out, engulfing the sky. Rumble. The lightning force did not dissipate. Finally, it exploded above the Thunder King's head. That strike was like the palm of a god. Half the void shook violently, and a true form armor on the Thunder King's body shattered instantly. He was sent flying. There were screams all around. This battle was extremely exciting. Usually, it was extremely difficult to see a true form mighty cultivator, let alone a true form mighty cultivator. At that moment, almost all the true form mighty cultivators of Demonic City were present. The number of disaster transformation realm powerful beings could be counted on two hands. Cauldron filling state was nothing special. Most of the body condensation state cultivators were at the void spirit state. Hong Ming, old dog, eat my sword. The dark demon golden steel pierced through the air. The seemingly simple sword technique instantly condensed into a sharp sword in the air. The sharp sword was like an expanse of roiling clouds and mist. It was unstoppable, and wherever it passed, the sky would be sliced open, forming a black vacuum zone. "What is that?" a distant cultivator exclaimed. "This is a collapsed space." I didn't expect Senior Golden Tablet to create a collapsed space with a single slash. After someone pointed out the true nature of the Black Rift, the 100,000 cultivators could no longer remain calm. Of course, they had heard of collapsed space. That was an extremely distorted plane without any signs of life. Even true form mighty figures would die, without a doubt, if they went in. Meanwhile, the Black Crack was rapidly approaching Hongming. Everyone was worried for him. Hongming's expression changed drastically, and he was no longer as calm as before. Before the Crack could get too close, he had already struck out with his hand. Buzz! The true essence giant hand rose into the sky, and its hand language carried a strange energy fluctuation. When the palm oil and the sword chi collided, the Black Crack in the sky stopped moving. However, an even vaster black hole appeared in the sky, emitting a strong aura of death. It's really a collapsed space. It's so big. The clash of true form mighty figures is too terrifying. Luckily, there are only a few true form mighty figures in Demonic City. If there were true form mighty figures everywhere, the entire Demonic City would be engulfed by a black hole if they fought. I sense the aura of a field, and it's a clash of two fields. The crowd exclaimed again when they mentioned the field. Actually, most cultivators had only heard of the field, but they had no way of reaching that level. Even the initial realm could only be comprehended when one reached the body condensation realm. If one wanted to achieve phenomenal success, one's martial Dao realm would most likely be at the peak of the body condensation realm or even the cauldron filling state. Hongming and Jinbei were both at the true form realm, and their fields were at least at phenomenal success. When the two of them fought intensely, the other cultivators realized that they couldn't even help. Their fields were extremely powerful. To outsiders, it was a place of certain death. Even cauldron filling state or disaster transformation realm cultivators would be killed instantly if they entered. Rumble. There was another loud sound in the sky. Hongming and Jinbei spat out mouthfuls of blood at the same time and flew backward. The collision of their attacks caused the collapsed space to expand even more. The void seemed to form a black cloud. However, everyone knew that it was a huge collapsed space. Anything that entered it would perish. "You just reached the true form realm. How could you injure me? Didn't you reach the true form realm level 2 directly?" Jinbei asked as soon as he stabilized his body. He didn't even care about his injuries. Everyone was stunned and focused on Hongming. Not long ago, everyone had seen him trigger the Thunder Tribulation and break through to the true form realm. After successfully breaking through, Hongming's cultivation level was at the true form realm level 1. How could he become a true form realm level 2? Senior brother Jinbei, are you sure you didn't see wrongly? That old thief reached the true form realm level 2? Nie Yuan's face was full of doubt. Jinbei carefully sensed the aura on Hongming's body and said firmly, "I can't be wrong. He really reached the true form realm level 2. The crowd was shocked. They couldn't understand how Hongming had done it. Besides Hongming, there were 3 other true form mighty cultivators present. They were the Thunder Sect Master, Thunder King, the Heavenly Fiend Sect Master, Nie Yuan, and the top itinerant cultivator in Modu City, Dark Demon Jinbei. Among the 3 of them, only Jinbei had broken through to the true form realm level 2. As for the Thunder King and Nie Yuan, they had been stuck at the true form realm level 1 for more than 10 years, but had never found the opportunity to break through. "You found that stone?" Jinbei's expression suddenly changed. The others didn't know that he had actually been able to break through to the true form realm level 2, because he had coincidentally found the immortal stone in an ancient ruin. "I don't know what you're talking about. If you want to fight, just fight. Don't be so wishy-washy." Hongming's acting was very good. However, Jinbei was certain that Hongming had found the immortal stone. After reaching the true form realm, one would understand that cultivation seemed to have reached the end. No matter how much one absorbed the spirit chi of heaven and earth, it would be difficult for one's cultivation level to advance. However, after encountering the immortal stone, Jinbei understood that it wasn't the end of cultivation. It was just that the spirit chi of the West Ocean continent wasn't enough for true form realm cultivators to cultivate. Don't play dumb with me. If you don't hand over the stone today, I will make you die a horrible death. Jinbei suddenly became crazy. Everyone was completely confused. They didn't know what the so-called stone was. How could it make this true form realm, Qianbei, so agitated? The two continued to fight. The black hole in the sky that was about to disappear reappeared and enveloped the entire Demon Mountain number 2. The cultivators watching retreated again and again. In the end, many people were frightened by the huge black hole above their heads and ran for their lives. The subordinates brought by Thunder King and the others were also frightened by such a terrifying formation. They all helped out and wanted to end this battle. Smoke filled the air. The sky above Demon Mountain number 2 rumbled incessantly. The mountain strength chair felt like it was going to collapse at any time. Qin Fun and Hong Chenwu, who were in the valley, felt even more intense. It even became difficult to stand on the ground and stabilize their bodies. No, I have to go out and help Father. Hong Chenwu suddenly stood up from the ground. Qin Fun was busy setting up the formation while shouting, "Don't go out. This battle isn't something you and I can participate in. If we go, we will only die." Hong Chun-Woo was impatient. "But I can't watch Father get attacked by everyone." Qin Fen reached out with his divine sense and checked the battle situation outside. At the moment, the two forces were fighting in full swing. Hong Ming was surrounded by 3 true form realm cultivators and seemed to be unable to do what she wanted. "You don't need to go out. Take the range race sniper and aim and fire. I still need 5 more minutes. After the formation eye is repaired, everyone will be safe." Qin Fun threw the sniper to Hong Chunwu. He had been repairing the broken formation eye on Demon Mountain number 2. When the range race sniper was in her hands, Hong Chunwu instantly felt a powerful force seeping out. Her hands were trembling. This weapon could kill a late-stage disaster transformation cultivator instantly. Rumble. In just a moment, Hong Chun-Woo had already adjusted his emotions. He moved the sniper and aimed at Nye Yuan outside the mountain and fired. Thunder rumbled. The scorching white lightning arrived instantly. Nye Yuan didn't notice it at all. By the time he realized he was in a sea of lightning, it was already too late to escape. Rumble. An explosion spread on his body. The power of the true form realm lightning tribulation was earth-shattering. Nye Yuan circulated his quintessential essence to protect his body with all his might, but he was still blasted away. Hong Chen-Wu's attack succeeded, and a look of pleasant surprise appeared on her face. Her subordinates fired continuously, as if the lightning tribulation in the power supply was free of charge. The vast sky above the demonic peak had been destroyed by the explosions of these almighty experts and light snipers. The collapsed space was scattered with steel, as if it had been chewed on by star beasts. Where did this lightning tribulation come from? Nye Yuan was beaten to the point of losing his temper. After a long time, he still could not find his opponent. "There's another true form expert hidden in the demon peak," said the golden tablet quickly. "Impossible. The nightmare race doesn't even have a true form. Old dog Hongming only broke through recently," said the Thunder King. A look of greed flashed across Jinbei's eyes. He was even more certain that Hongming had found immortal stones, and not just 1 or 2. "There weren't any before, but that doesn't mean there aren't any now," the golden tablet shouted. The expressions of everyone who was in the midst of an intense battle changed drastically. Everyone understood the deeper meaning behind the golden tablet's words. How is this possible? Could it be that the mystic demon clan had found a way to break through to the true form realm? Our clansmen broke through to the true form realm one after another? The Thunder Monarch's voice was trembling. "That's hard to say. Anyway, we have to break through the second demon peak today and annihilate the mystic demon clan." Jinbei was already in a frenzy. What he cared about now was not the cultivation resources on the second demon peak, but the immortal stones that Hong Ming had obtained. The battle was getting more and more intense. Neither faction was backing down. However, at that moment, a faint white light shone on the second demon peak. A powerful and ancient aura surged, bouncing the Thunder King and the others away. "Sect Leader Nya, what's going on?" asked the golden tablet anxiously. Nye Yuan looked at the steel light shield around the demon peak, and his expression changed drastically. How did this happen? Someone repaired the array core. Everyone was shocked. The array formation on the second demon peak was a level 9 ancient array formation. Apart from Nye Yuan, who else in the entire demonic city could find the array core? Someone had even repaired the array core? Remember the website, Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 2096. Sect Leader Nya, are you joking? The Thunder King could not accept the truth. Nye Yuan immediately threw out several array flags. A moment later, a light door appeared on the mountainside. The Thunder King and the rest looked hopeless when they saw the light door. Wasn't this the array that they had spent so much effort to break? The mysterious demon clan still has an array king. I don't think he is from the mysterious demon clan. I don't know where old dog Hong Ming found reinforcements. Not only did they remove the elixir poison in his body, but they also helped him reach the true form realm successfully. Even the sky full of thunder just now was probably an attack from that mysterious person, and the repaired array, I was also done by that person. Everyone found it hard to accept the Thunder King's guess. However, the truth was right in front of them. They could not help but be curious about the other party's identity. They thought that person must have lived for hundreds of years like them. Perhaps he was a human cultivator from Snowfield City. The Thunder King and the rest knew the true form realm almighties in Snowfield City very well. Hong Ming heaved a long sigh of relief when he saw that the array had been repaired. He had just reached true form realm level 2. Facing 3 true form realm almighties at the same time was already too much for him. If Hong Chan-Wu had not helped him with the 100-mile light sniper, he might not have survived. Kill anyone who dares to challenge the second demon peak, Hong Ming commanded. The mysterious demon clan's fiendish cultivators launched a frenzied attack. When the defense array on the demon peak was repaired, the Thunder King and the rest could only be beaten up. Their attacks were blocked by the array screen and could not hurt the mysterious demon clan at all. This kind of battle could not be sustained. The Thunder King and the rest retreated one after another. None of them had expected that the combined forces of the various sects would end with them fleeing. "Father, are you all right?" Hong Ming returned triumphantly from the Demon Peak Valley. Although he had been seriously injured during the battle, he had completely forgotten about his injuries compared to the joy of breaking through to the true form realm and defending the Demon Peak. "Don't worry, Chen Wu. I only suffered some minor injuries. I will be fine after a few days of rest." Hong Ming comforted his daughter and then looked at Qin Fen gratefully. "Young hero Qin, it's all thanks to you this time. You are the benefactor of the mysterious demon clan." Qin Feng hurriedly waved his hand and said, "Senior Hong Ming, you're being too serious. I was just doing my best." Hong Ming waved her hand. "Young hero Qin, I didn't hold back." The astral space was a small world that Qin Fen had spent a lot of effort to cultivate. There were 3 spirit veins, one of the divine continent's 10 great immortal herbs, the tree of life, and countless spirit stones. "Senior, I have to rush back as soon as possible. I have many wizened brothers in the North Sand Continent. I can't leave them alone." Qin Fen decided to express his stance. He knew that Hong Ming wanted to matchmake him and Hong Chun-Wu. However, with the current situation, he felt that bringing Hong Chun-Wu along would only drag her down. The disappointment in Hong Chun-Wu's eyes deepened. Hong Ming let out a long sigh. Sigh. Relationships can't be forced. However, young hero Qin, you don't have to rush. Stay here for a few more days. The first Demon Peak will open in 3 days. Let's go in and take a look. Qin Fen's interest was piqued. The first Demon Peak? Hong Ming explained, there are a total of 308 Demon Peaks in the Demon Capital. These peaks are ranked according to numbers. The higher the number, the higher the ranking. The first Demon Peak is not occupied. Until now, I've never heard of any force being able to occupy the first demon peak. This is because the first demon peak also has an ancient formation. It's even more powerful than the second demon peak's formation. However, the first demon peak's formation will be weakened for a few days every year. The duration is usually 1 week. During this week, many powerhouses can force their way into the first demon peak to search for treasures. When the formation recovers, everyone will be ejected. Qinfen was really interested. Actually, when he first entered the demon capital, he had an idea about the 308 demon peaks. According to Hong Chunwu, the spiritual energy on these demon peaks was much higher than that of the cities outside. This showed that there were spiritual veins hidden under the mountains. What's on the first demon peak? Qinfen asked. Seeing that Qinfen was interested, Hong Ming smiled and said, "Young hero Qin, the first demon peak is the top treasure mountain in the demon capital. There are countless cultivation resources on it. Even level 9 spiritual herbs are very common. Also, because the demon peak only opens once a year, only a few powerhouses can force their way in. Therefore, many of the cultivation resources on the first demon peak are not taken away." Qinfen already had the idea of entering the first demon peak. However, he planned to go there himself and not with Hong Ming. "Senior, I'd better return to the North Sand continent as soon as possible. There's still many things waiting for me there." Hong Ming was stunned. After coming back to her senses, she sighed and said, "Sigh. Since young hero Qin insists on leaving, I won't force you to stay. This storage ring contains all the cultivation resources I've collected in my life. I'll give it to you as a token of gratitude." A true form realm cultivator storage ring was extremely tempting. However, Qinfen rejected it without even thinking. "If Senior still treats me as a friend, there's no need to be so polite." Qinfen cupped his hands and said, "I'll take my leave first." 3 days later, Qinfen arrived at the foot of the first demon peak. However, he had already changed his appearance to Qiao Foam. Speaking of the 100 change face mask, Qinfen realized how amazing it was. Back then, when he had encountered enemies with low realms, Qinfen had thought that their realms were limited and they couldn't see through the mask's divine sense. However, when Hong Ming had walked past him with Hong Chunwu, he had realized that the 100 change face mask didn't rely on divine sense. Otherwise, with Hong Ming's powerful divine sense, she would definitely be able to recognize him. However, no matter how he thought about it, Qinfen couldn't understand the principle behind the 100 change face mask. However, he was relieved. At least no one could see through his current identity. Hundreds of thousands of demonic cultivators had gathered at the foot of the first demon peak. The grand scene was even more spectacular than the battle at the second demon peak 3 days ago. However, Qinfen knew that not all of these cultivators had come to force their way into the first demon peak. According to Hong Ming, even though the first demon peak's formation would weaken during these few days, those who hadn't reached the body condensation realm would not be able to force their way in. "Brother Hong Ming, I heard that you reached the true form realm 3 days ago. I was cultivating in seclusion at the time and didn't have the time to congratulate you." "Congratulations, brother. Qianbei Hong Ming, the ethereal mist sect leader, sent me to congratulate you for reaching the true form realm. The sect leader isn't in demon capital this time because of important matters. When the sect leader comes back, he will personally visit you." Han Palace's Qi Su greets Qianbei Hong Ming. Many people gathered around Hong Ming and tried to curry favor with her. This was the norm in the Divine Supreme Continent. Martial arts were respected wherever one went. If Qinfen hadn't gone to the second demon peak 3 days ago, the outcome would have been different. The Mystic Demon Clan would most likely have been annihilated and Hong Ming would have died tragically. No one would have remembered him. Hong Ming didn't put on airs and returned everyone's greetings. At that moment, the crowd suddenly opened up a path and 2 men, one old and one young, walked over. The old man cupped his fists at Hong Ming and said, "Congratulations, brother Hong Ming. You have reached the true form realm. Demon Capital has another true form almighty. Our power is different from before." "Haha, brother Ouyang, you're exaggerating. I have just reached the true form realm. My strength is far inferior to you old demon kings, Hong Ming said with a smile. Ouyang Tian waved his hand and said, Don't be humble, brother Hong Ming. Although I couldn't see the battle personally 3 days ago, I heard about it afterward. That day, you fought the Thunder King and the other 2 true form realm experts all by yourself. In the end, you managed to escape unscathed. How can you be a new true form realm expert? You are even more powerful than us old true form realm experts. Chapter 2097. The underworld was dangerous. Hong Ming's relationship with Ouyang Tian, the clan leader of the spiritual mountains Ouyang family, was ordinary. Before Hong Ming had attained the true form realm, Ouyang Tian had not even bothered to speak to him. Now that he had taken the initiative to greet him, Hong Ming was not stupid enough to think that there was a deep friendship between them. Thank you for your congratulations, brother Ouyang. I'll bring my daughter around first. Hong Ming found an excuse to leave. Ouyang Tian smiled. Brother Hong Ming, don't be in such a hurry. I have something to discuss with you. Hong Ming's heart tightened, but he said calmly, Brother Ouyang, feel free to speak. I will definitely do what I can. Brother Hong Ming, you really can make decisions on this matter. Ouyang Tian paused for a moment, then looked at the young man behind him and said with a smile, First, let me introduce my son, Ouyang Tian. He's about the same age as your daughter, Hong Chunwu. If Brother Hong Ming doesn't mind, why don't you matchmake them? Ouyang Jun kept glancing at Hong Chunwu. When his father mentioned him, he retracted his greedy gaze and cupped his fists at Hong Ming. Junior, Ouyang Jun greets Uncle Hong Ming. Hong Ming merely nodded his head. He wasn't willing to have this marriage at all. Or rather, ever since Hong Ming had met Qin Fun, he felt that Qin Fun was the only one in the entire divine continent who was worthy of the girl. I don't agree. Hong Chunwu's pretty face turned cold, and she rejected him in front of everyone. Many cultivators were watching, and Ouyang Tian felt a little embarrassed. The Ouyang family of the Spirit Mountain was one of the few 8-star families in Mo. Ouyang Tian was the clan leader of the family and had long attained the true form realm. His cultivation level was only above the Thunder Monarchs and was not lower than Ouyang Tian's. He was also one of the top figures in Mo. Brother Hong Ming, what do you think? Ouyang Tian ignored Hong Chunwu's attitude. Hong Ming said indifferently, Brother Ouyang, I can make decisions for other things, but this is not up to me. Everything depends on Chunwu. Ouyang Tian's expression turned even colder. Brother Hong Ming, marriage is decided by the matchmaker. Why can't you make the decision? Or do you not like my junior? Hong Ming was suppressing her anger, but she couldn't vent it. Not long ago, he had battled 3 true form mighty figures outside the second demon peak. Although he had luckily survived, he had been seriously injured. The quintessential essence in his body had not completely stabilized. If he really fell out with Ouyang Tian, it would be hard to say who would emerge victorious. Big brother Ouyang, you misunderstand. I never decide Chunwu's marriage. I hope you don't force me. Hong Ming had a smile on her face, but her tone was cold. Ouyang Jun was young and vigorous. He suddenly pointed at Hong Ming's nose and scolded, Old man, don't be so shameless. The fact that I, Ouyang Jun, have taken a fancy to your daughter is a blessing that the mystic demon clan has cultivated for 8 lifetimes. Didn't you just attain the true form realm 3 days ago? Don't you already know who you are? Jun, don't be rude. Ouyang Tian reprimanded, but one could not tell from his expression that he was really angry. Hong Ming's face turned red. He was a true realization state mighty figure, but he was being humiliated by a body condensation state cultivator in public. This marriage is impossible. If there's nothing else, Chunwu and I will take our leave first. Hong Ming had lost his patience. Ouyang Tian's face grew long. Violent quintessential essence surged from his body and surrounded the two of them. Brother Ouyang, what do you mean by this? Hong Ming also circulated his quintessential essence. Many cultivators retreated in fear. The flames of war seemed to be ignited at any moment. When he sensed Hong Ming's quintessential essence aura, a playful smile flashed across Ouyang Tian's eyes. It seems like I overestimated your strength. In your current state, you probably can't even beat a late-stage disaster transformation cultivator, much less a true form cultivator. Hong Ming's expression changed drastically. He had been afraid that the other party would discover his body's condition. He had not expected to fall into the other party's trap in a moment of desperation. Hong Ming was in a dilemma for a moment. Then he heard a clear voice. What are you doing? Are you trying to matchmake a couple? Why don't you look at your own child's ability? How can a piece of trash match up to Lady Chun Wu? Everyone looked over in disbelief. Which sex disciple dared to be so arrogant and scold Ouyang Tian's son in front of everyone? When they saw the young and unfamiliar face, many cultivators sneered. So it was another idiot who did not know what was good for him. You ant, who are you calling trash? Ouyang Jun gritted his teeth in anger. I'm not talking about you. Why are you so agitated? Did someone else call you trash? Qin Feng scolded him in different ways. Ouyang Jun's eyes were spitting fire. He looked like he wanted to eat Qin Feng up. Father, help me kill this ant. Qin Feng immediately felt a violent quintessential essence surge from Ouyang Tian's body. That aura seemed to be able to destroy the world, making it difficult for people to breathe. Before Ouyang Tian could really attack, Qin Feng quickly said, You find help when you run into trouble. Aren't you also trash? Ouyang Tian secretly retracted his palm. He looked at Qin Feng and saw that he was young. The aura he gave off was only at body condensation stage 1. He said to Ouyang Jun, Jun, go deal with him yourself. Of course, Ouyang Jun understood what his father meant. If Qin Feng was stronger than him, his father definitely wouldn't let him do it himself. It seemed like Qin Feng was just a rookie. Ouyang Jun was instantly filled with confidence. He looked at Qin Feng and yelled, Aunt, are you going to kill yourself or get killed by me? Qin Feng smiled. You don't have that ability. I can kill you with one palm. Ouyang Jun was furious. You don't know your place. Your elder will let you know my power today. Without waiting for him to make a move, Qin Feng said, Don't be hasty. Before we start fighting, we have to agree on one thing. In this battle, life and death will be decided by fate. If you are unlucky enough to be killed by me, your Ouyang clan cannot seek revenge from me. Qin Feng wasn't afraid of Ouyang Jun. He was afraid of Ouyang Tian, who was at true form realm. Even if he was at Caldronekiana realm and could fight a late-stage Caldronekiana realm, a true form realm was completely different. It wasn't something he could handle with his current cultivation. Ouyang Jun didn't understand where Qin Feng's confidence came from. His confidence dissipated, and he couldn't help but look back at his father. Ouyang Tian also couldn't figure out what Qin Feng was thinking. However, he could tell from the age of Qin Feng's aura that he had only cultivated for a dozen years. What could a cultivator with only a dozen years be capable of? How could he be Juner's match? He's just trying to be mysterious. Don't be afraid of him. Ouyang Tian stared at Qin Feng coldly. Ouyang Jun's confidence rose, and he suddenly launched a sneak attack. Boom! When he attacked, there was a loud explosion. It was obvious that Ouyang Jun didn't hold back. His strong quintessential essence aura was condensed in his palm. The surrounding crowd immediately retreated, giving way to a huge battlefield. Many people hadn't even stabilized their retreating bodies when a loud explosion resounded on the battlefield. When the crowd saw the situation on the battlefield clearly, their eyeballs fell to the ground. Qin Feng stood at his original position as if he hadn't moved at all. However, Ouyang Jun, who had launched a fierce attack, exploded on the spot. Even his primordial spirit was destroyed. What happened? How did Ouyang Jun die? That young hero seemed to have a helper. No wonder he dared to be so arrogant. He didn't even care about Demon King Ouyang Tian. How dare you, Aunt? How dare you kill my Juner? I will refine you into a demon infant so that you will never be able to reincarnate. Ouyang Tian was furious and slapped Qin Feng. That sudden loud sound seemed to tear open the sky. A huge palm print fell down like a dark cloud that covered the sky, scaring everyone and causing them to flee. However, Qin Feng couldn't escape because the palm print carried a violent magnetic field. This was the might of Ouyang Tian's field. That was the field of completion. Qin Feng felt like he was besieged on all sides. There were dangers of death everywhere, and there was no way out. He immediately put on the life immortal armor. At the same time, he circulated the creation of heaven and earth art. Immediately, a huge wave of life energy surged in his body, giving Qin Feng a pleasant feeling. Swish! The moment his divine sense recovered, Qin Feng immediately used his field. Although he had only comprehended the field of small success and couldn't devour Ouyang Jun's field, he could form a small space in the field that belonged to him. It wouldn't be a problem for him to protect his life. You actually comprehended the field? How is this possible? Ouyang Jun's expression changed greatly. He even forgot to continue attacking. He couldn't believe that an ant who had only cultivated for a dozen years and was only at the first level of cauldron filling state could actually comprehend the existence of the field. Qin Feng grabbed this opportunity. He swung his hand, and the ash-gray ruler swept up a purple rainbow. The rainbow was like the setting sun on the wild grassland. Thousands of fiendish cultivators were immersed in it. Soon, a mighty figure screamed as he saw through the infinite killing intent hidden in the depths of the purple light. Everyone, be careful. There's danger in the purple light. This saber move is so dazzling and fierce. Who exactly is that young hero? How can he last so long against senior Ouyang Jun? Rumble. Just as the crowd was having a heated discussion, a loud sound shook the sky. 100,000 fiendish cultivators looked up at the sky. The beautiful purple saber aura had cut open the void, forming a pitch-black crack. There was danger everywhere under the crack. There was no chance of survival. Collapsed space? That young hero actually created a collapsed space with one saber move. I heard that during the battle outside the second demon peak 3 days ago, several true four mighty figures fought and left dozens of collapsed black holes in the sky. Today, I witnessed a battle between true four mighty figures. It's really terrifying. Everyone below the true form realm is like an ant. When can I reach the true form realm? When Ouyang Tian saw the black hole that appeared in the sky, his heart surged with raging waves. He was shocked by Qin Feng's strength again and again. He was clearly an ant who had just reached the cauldron filling state, but he could move freely in his field and create a collapsed space. You're not a fiendish cultivator. Where are you from? Why did you come to Shanghai to cause trouble? Ouyang Tian discovered the secret in Qin Feng's aura. Chapter 2098. The expressions of the cultivators at the foot of the mountain changed drastically. That ferocious young hero was not a demonic cultivator. If you want to fight, then fight. What's with all this nonsense? Qin Feng swung his saber again, not giving Ouyang Tian a chance to question him. The ruler swept up a purple light that shot into the sky like a purple storm dragon. After reaching the Ekiana cauldron realm, Qin Feng realized that the ruler's power had increased greatly. Even Ouyang Tian, who was at the true form realm, could not ignore Qin Feng's full-powered attack. He casually swung his palm, and a quintessential essence giant hand covered the sky. While the handprint was still floating in the air, a huge pit had already appeared in the ground. Father, that person is Qin Feng. Hong Chenwu was extremely excited when she saw the dazzling purple light. Hong Ming nodded and then shook her head. Chenwu, that young hero's aura is indeed similar to Qin Feng's, but their appearances are too different. I just used my divine sense to check. He is not wearing a masked Dharma treasure. Now that Hong Ming was at the true form realm, his divine sense's penetrating power was extremely strong. Even a high-grade true form weapon could not hide his divine sense. Even if a supreme-grade true form weapon could not see through him, it could at least find some clues. However, the young hero was not wearing a mask. It seemed that he was not Qin Feng at all. Hong Chenwu was sure that he was Qin Feng because she had seen Qin Feng use the ruler when they had been exploring the Nine Heaven Snow region. Father, don't forget that Qin Feng is a low-grade, true form grandmaster. I've seen his weapon before. He is Qin Feng, Hong Chenwu said anxiously. Hong Ming's expression changed drastically. She started to believe her daughter's words. Qin Fen even had a Dharma treasure that could kill a late-stage disaster transformation realm cultivator. It was not surprising that he had a Dharma treasure that could hide his divine sense. Rumble. Hongming no longer hesitated. She swung her palm and blocked the falling quintessential essence giant hand. When the quintessential essence of the two true form cultivators collided, it was as if a mushroom cloud had spread in the air. The void was separated like a flowing river. Hongming, what are you doing? Ouyang Tian was furious. If Hongming had not done this, even if he could not have killed Qin Fen, he would have been severely injured. My beloved daughter has taken a liking to this young hero. I hope Brother Ouyang can show mercy, said Hongming. Ouyang Tian was so angry that he was about to explode. He yelled at him, "Old thief Hongming, don't push your luck. Do you really think I'm afraid of you?" Humph. I tried my best to plead with Big Brother Ouyang, but your attitude is so bad. Don't blame me for not giving you face. Hongming did not back down. Ouyang Tian was a little uncertain. Although he knew that Hongming had been seriously injured 3 days ago, he had heard that she had broken through and reached the true form realm level 2. Furthermore, she was now facing Qin Fen, who was a difficult person to deal with. Brother Hongming, I brought Jun to propose marriage to you out of goodwill, but you refused me. I'll give you another chance. Marry your daughter to my eldest son. This way, the mystical demon clan and the Ouyang clan of Spirited Mountain will become allies. As long as the two of us join forces, I dare ask which force in the entire demon city would dare to provoke us? Ouyang Tian's fox's tail had been exposed. This was his true motive for proposing marriage. Matrimonial alliances did not only exist on Earth. They were also very common in the Divine Continent. However, Hongming had doted on Hong Chan Wu since she was young. How could he treat the little girl as an object and traitor? You old thief, if you dare to spout nonsense again, I'll fight it out with you. Hongming was furious. He slammed his palms into the air. The sky was filled with palm prints. It felt like the sky was shaking. Qin Fen had already realized that his identity had been exposed. He did not have time to be embarrassed. He immediately slashed out with his ruler and released the battlefield at the same time. Ouyang Tian felt powerless under the continuous attacks of the two of them. He had just blocked one attack when the other side immediately attacked him. The huge battle between the two of them became an intense battle between the three of them. The battle was so intense that the surrounding cultivators kept retreating. They were about to retreat out of the territory of Demon Mountain No. 1. After fighting for a whole hour, the formation on Demon Mountain No. 1 fluctuated intensely. Ouyang Tian immediately flew over and passed through a formation door. He disappeared into thin air. Old thief with the surname Hong, just you wait. And you ant who doesn't know your place. Once Demon Mountain No. 1 is over, I'll make sure you all die a horrible death. Ouyang Tian's roar reverberated throughout the entire Demon Mountain. Qin Fen knew very well that the old monster had fought for a long time without gaining any advantage. He had found a way to escape. However, if he said that he wanted revenge after coming out, it would definitely be true. Moreover, he would look for them separately for revenge. However, Qin Fen was not worried. Once Demon Mountain No. 1 was over, he would immediately rush back to the North Sand Continent. By then, even if Ouyang Tian turned the entire West Sea continent upside down, he would not be able to find him. Thank you for your help, Senior. Qin Fen bowed towards Hongming. Hongming's mouth twitched. He did not know whether to expose him. Young hero, do you also want to enter Demon Mountain No. 1? Hong Chen Wu flew over and almost jumped into Qin Feng's arms. Qin Fen knew that his identity had definitely been exposed. Hong Chen Wu must have recognized Song Qi, however. He still put on an act and said, "Yes, Mississippi." Hongming's mouth twitched even more. Hong Chen Wu smiled and said, "Young hero, why don't you team up with us? That way, we can take care of each other." "Thank you for your kindness, Mississippi. I'm used to moving alone." Qin Fen rejected. Hong Chen Wu's beautiful eyes flashed with disappointment. Hongming sighed and said, "Chen Wu, let's not make things difficult for the young hero. He must have his reasons for doing this." After saying this, Hongming looked at Qin Feng and said, "Young hero, don't be in a hurry to enter. That old thief Ouyang Tian will probably wait for a while." Qin Feng asked, "Senior, could it be that the teleportation formation to Demon Mountain number 1 is a directional teleportation?" Hongming nodded and said, "The array door to Demon Mountain number 1 is a directional teleportation. However, there are many hidden array doors in the Demon Mountain. Those array doors can change." Qin Feng guessed that the formation door at the entrance of Demon Peak number 1 was added by someone later. It should be a powerful senior who discovered this treasure mountain and set up a formation to take it for himself. Otherwise, there would not be a situation where the internal and external formation mechanisms were not unified. After a moment of silence, Hong Ming continued, "How about this? Young hero, follow us in. Then you can act on your own." Qin Feng knew that his identity had been exposed. He had said that he would leave the West Sea continent, but in the end, he sneaked into Demon Mountain number 1. It was really embarrassing. "That's good too." Qin Feng braced himself and said, "Haha, young hero Qin. No, young hero, let's go in now." Hong Ming was so excited that she let it slip. Qin Feng was speechless. The three of them entered the array door under the fearful gazes of hundreds of thousands of fiendish cultivators. The Thunder Monarch and the rest, whom Qin Feng was worried about, did not appear. It seemed that they had been seriously injured in the battle 3 days ago. With the protection of Hong Ming's quintessential essence, this was the first time Qin Feng did not feel any airflow collision when he passed through the teleportation array door. Just as Hong Ming had guessed, the three of them had just entered Demon Mountain number 1 when they saw Ouyang Tian glaring at them. "Old dog Ouyang, why are you still here? Was the beating just now not enough?" Since they had completely fallen out with Ouyang Tian, Hong Ming did not give him any face at all. Ouyang Tian was furious. "You with the surname Hong, are you sure you want to go against the spiritual mountains Ouyang family for a Ekiana ant? You are really the guilty one complaining first. That young hero caught the eye of my beloved daughter. He is now a member of the Black Demon clan." Qin Feng raised his eyebrows. He knew that this was not a true Yuan voice transmission, but a divine consciousness voice transmission. To be able to use divine consciousness voice transmission, it showed that the other party's cultivation level was at least at the disaster transformation realm. This level of almighty cultivator was a little troublesome for Qin Feng. "Fellow cultivator, if you want to force your way over, don't blame me for being impolite." The old voice rang in Qin Feng's mind again. Qin Feng dispelled the thought of speeding up the flying cloud all. Actually, with the flying cloud all's current speed, it was easy to escape from a disaster transformation realm cultivator. However, Qin Feng really wanted to find someone to ask about the situation of the main peak. P.S. Recommend my friend Xiaogua's urban masterpiece Return of the Celestial Emperor. The masterpiece Great Xia Marquis by the fantasy god Misty Knight. Readers who are in a book shortage can take a look. Chapter 2099. The flying cloud all instantly landed on the mountain peak Chi Su was at with a white light. Chi Su wasn't the only one on the mountain peak. There were 3 elders standing behind him. Qin Feng scanned them with his divine consciousness as soon as he landed. Besides Chi Su, who was at the disaster transformation realm, the other 3 were at the Ekiana tripod realm. This lineup would be considered a major force in the West Ocean continent, but it wouldn't pose a fatal threat to Qin Feng. If Chi Su and the others really wanted to fight, he could escape at any time even if he couldn't beat them. When Qin Feng landed, they weren't looking at him. They were staring at the flying cloud all. Sect leader. No wonder it flew so fast. It's a high-grade flying Dharma treasure. Chi Su's face turned red. He wanted to snatch it. Even he, a 7-star sect leader, didn't have a high-grade flying Dharma treasure. "Brat, leave this flying true artifact behind, and you can go," one of the elders shouted, but he didn't even look at Qin Feng. After Qin Feng understood his opponent's intentions, the corners of his mouth curved into a cold smile. "Heh, how dare you try to rob me? How dare you?" Chi Su and the others were stunned and looked at Qin Feng. They were surprised. Even if the Frost Palace wasn't a top force in Shanghai, It was still one of the few 7-star sections. Who was this person? He didn't give them any leeway. When they saw Qin Fun's face clearly, their expressions changed drastically. They didn't know Qin Fun, but they had seen Qin Fun's skills at the foot of Demon Mountain No. 1 not long ago. This inconspicuous young man had fought with Ouyang Tian, who was at the true form realm. They had fought until the sky darkened and even space collapsed. They still had lingering fears. Yes, it's Senior. Chisu's first reaction was to bow with cupped fists. The 3 elders behind him were so frightened that they were trembling. Qin Fan had recognized them long ago. They had greeted Hong Ming at the foot of Demon Mountain No. 1, so Qin Fan had guessed that they wouldn't dare do anything to him. He hadn't expected their reactions to be so strong. Since they had already built a platform, Qin Fan put on the attitude of an otherworldly expert and said, "Are you interested in my flying Dharma treasure?" Chisu immediately shook his head. No. I only admire Senior's flying artifact and have absolutely no intention of taking it for myself. Qin Fan sighed inwardly. The cultivators of the Divine Supreme Continent were all good at acting. If they were brought to Earth, they would all be best actors and best actresses. Since you have no other intentions, why did you stop me? A murderous aura surged from Qin Feng's body. Chi Su and the other 3 regretted so much that their intestines turned green. Why did they block such a powerful being? When the 4 of them scanned Qin Fun's body with their divine senses, they discovered that he was only at the first level of the Cauldron Realm. However, the scene of Qin Fun's saber slashing and collapsing space was still vivid in their minds. It was truly terrifying. Senior, you've misunderstood. We're not stopping you. We're just inviting you over. Chi Su's attitude was extremely respectful. Invite me down? What's the matter? Qin Feng didn't expose them and played along with the 4 of them. We found some spirit herbs and wanted to give them to Senior. Chi Su had a brainwave and made up an excuse. However, as soon as the words left his mouth, he began to regret it. Wasn't he digging a hole for himself? Qin Feng was overjoyed. He would not refuse such a free benefit. Oh, what level of spirit herb? Take it out and let me see. Chi Su was about to casually grab a few level 5 spirit herbs from his storage ring. However, before he could take them out, he heard Qin Feng continue to say, "If it's not level 6 and above, don't take it out to embarrass yourself." Chi Su's movements suddenly stopped, and the corner of his mouth twitched violently. Seeing this, Qin Feng immediately understood what was going on. He said with a cold face, "Why are you standing there like a fool? Didn't you want to give me the spirit herbs? Are you guys making fun of me?" When a murderous aura enveloped him, Chi Su shivered and woke up. He quickly smiled and said, "Senior, don't be angry. How would we dare to joke with you? 5th Elder, don't just stand there. Didn't you just collect the 3 level 7 spirit herbs? Quickly give them to Senior." One of the gray-robed old men was dumbfounded. "Sect leader, when did I collect 3 level 7 spirit herbs?" Chi Su secretly scolded 5th Elder for being an idiot. However, he still laughed and said, "5th Elder's memory is so bad. It's the level 7 spirit herb we picked on the opposite mountain peak an hour ago." Chi Su kept winking at the 5th Elder. Even if the 5th Elder was stupid, he would still understand. Suddenly, he patted the shoulder of the white-robed old man beside him and said, "3rd Elder, didn't I give you the spirit grass? Take it out quickly." The white-robed old man was so angry that his beard was crooked. He suddenly looked at the other elder beside him. However, before he could speak, the other elder shouted first, "3rd Elder, don't look at me. You didn't give me the spirit herbs. You put the 3 level 7 spirit herbs in your storage ring. If you don't believe me, you can look for them." The white-robed old man almost fainted from anger. How could he trick his teammates like this? Seeing Qin Feng's fierce gaze, 3rd Elder could only brace himself and take out 3 level 7 spirit herbs from his storage ring. Qin Feng didn't hesitate and put them in his storage ring. "Is there anything else?" Qin Feng looked at the 4 of them. The 4 of them shook their heads. At this moment, their intestines were green with regret. Not only did they not succeed in robbing, but they also gave away 3 spirit herbs. "Since you don't have anything to give me, It's time for me to take the initiative to ask you for it. Qin Feng suddenly said. The four of them were stunned. Chi Su said carefully, Senior, you want to rob us? You're not wrong to think so. Qin Feng's eyes were cold. Chi Su's gloomy face darkened. This was going for wool and coming home shorn. Senior, actually, we also just entered Devil Mountain number 1. We haven't found anything yet. The spirit herbs that Third Elder gave you just now were his own resources. Chi Su's face was full of worry. Qin Feng didn't care about his crying. This group of people were not good people. If they hadn't robbed Qin Feng, but a cultivator with a lower cultivation, they would have succeeded by now. Cut the crap. If you're not willing to hand over your storage ring, then I'll take it myself. Qin Feng's body surged with violent quintessential essence. Chi Su and the other three immediately panicked. Actually, if they joined forces to resist with all their might, Qin Feng might be the one to escape. However, the four of them had seen the battle at the foot of the mountain. They had no intention of attacking Qin Feng at all. Just as the four of them were about to hand over their storage rings, Qin Feng's expression changed drastically. He suddenly thought of something. You guys entered Devil Mountain number 1 after me, right? The four of them were stunned. Chi Su said carefully, That's right, Senior. We saw you and Senior Hong Ming enter. We came in after an incense sticks time. Qin Feng's thoughts flew quickly. He seemed to have found some clues. You guys clearly came in after me. How did you get ahead of me? Senior, this is your first time entering Devil Mountain number 1, right? Chi Su asked. Qin Feng nodded. Chi Su revealed a look of realization and said, Senior, you might not know this, but Devil Mountain number 1 is actually a huge maze with many arrayed doors. Why do you say that? Qin Feng didn't understand. Chi Su continued. Every year, the cultivators who enter Devil Mountain number 1 are basically heading for the Heavenly Main Peak. The Heavenly Main Peak can't be reached directly. It needs to be teleported through the correct array door. However, there are countless array doors in Devil Mountain number 1. It's impossible to tell which one is the array door that leads to the main peak. Therefore, everyone takes a detour. It's like walking in a maze. Qin Feng asked, You guys passed through the array door and were teleported here? Yes, Senior, Chi Su replied. Qin Feng's doubts were finally resolved. He was clearly the first cultivator to enter Devil Mountain number 1. Moreover, the cloud-soaring all was extremely fast. However, Chi Su and the other three were ahead of him. So that was the reason. Senior, this is my 15th time coming to Devil Mountain number 1. Although I still can't find the correct array door, I've marked many of the array doors. I can avoid many detours. If Senior doesn't mind, we can team up. I'll bring Senior to the Heavenly Main Peak. Chi Su seemed to have seen a glimmer of hope. Qin Feng didn't need Chi Su's help. He was a level 7 array king himself. It wasn't a problem for him to identify the fake array doors. Cut the crap. Hand over your storage rings and scram. Qin Feng said coldly. The four of them were ashen. In the end, they still handed over their storage rings. Compared to death, other things were just worldly possessions. After getting the 4 storage rings, Qin Feng immediately drove the clouds soaring all away. He was a little excited. This kind of robbery of high-level cultivators was quite fun. After understanding the situation of the Heavenly Main Peak, Qin Feng was no longer in a hurry. That was because the scenery of the mountain was simply an illusion. Even if he flew for 8 to 10 years, he wouldn't be able to get close. Chi Su wasn't lying. There were countless array doors in Devil Mountain number 1. Qin Feng was busy with his journey and didn't pay attention. Now, after observing, he discovered that there were hundreds of array doors. The aura of these array doors were roughly the same. However, the array doors with the same aura were all fake. Qin Feng specially entered a few array doors to try. He discovered that they were just ordinary teleportation array doors. He was teleported in circles in the Devil Mountain. However, as long as Qin Feng passed through an array door, he would mark it and remember the teleportation location of the array door. When he tried to enter another array door, he discovered that it was another meaningless teleportation array door. However, when he was teleported out, he saw a familiar figure in the snow. It's you, an ant. Huh, the heavens really have eyes. Let's see where you can run to now. The angry roar startled the snowy mountain. The snow on the mountain peak tumbled down violently, forming an avalanche. That black figure suddenly flew over and slammed his palm down. A heaven-sealing palm imprint fell from the sky. Qin Feng was speechless. His luck was really good. He actually teleported in front of Ouyang Tian. He immediately used the field and slashed at the sky. Unfortunately, the difference in their realms was too great. The saber chi was instantly swallowed by the palm imprint, and he was directly slammed into the depths of the snow. Chapter 2100. Rumble. A loud sound exploded on the snowy ground. The avalanche that rolled down from the mountain peak shot out in all directions. The exploding snowballs were like stones that shot out and pierced through a few nearby snowy mountains. Qin Feng was in the depths of the snow pit and couldn't break free. A powerful magnetic field bound him. This was the field that Ouyang Tian had created. Facing Ouyang Tian again, Qin Feng realized the vast difference in strength between them. Ouyang Tian clearly hadn't used his full strength in the battle at the foot of Demon Mountain No. 1. Or rather, Hongming had blocked most of the attacks. Little ant, now you know how powerful I am. You dare to kill my second son. I will refine you into a demon infant and never let you reincarnate. Ouyang Tian's body floated above the snow pit. A huge true yuan hand floated above his head. The hand had already started to descend. It was extremely fast, and the aura of death covered the entire snow pit. There was no chance of survival at all. Qin Feng planned to hide in the astral world, but he felt a faint ripple of a formation in the depths of the snow. He immediately rushed underground and found a new formation door. Wong. Qin Feng didn't care where this formation door led to and dove in. The aura in the formation door started to ripple. The feeling of teleportation this time was completely different. Qin Feng's head hurt. It was obvious that he was teleported to a very far place. Rumble. Almost at the same time, the huge true yuan hand fell to the ground. The snow flew into the air, and it felt like the entire ground was shaking. Ouyang Tian immediately sent out his divine sense. He couldn't feel Qin Feng's aura in the snow pit anymore. He laughed wildly. Huh, Jun you've gotten your revenge. Go in peace. As for that girl, Hong Chunwu, I will let your big brother conquer her. As for that old thief Hong Ming, I will make him die a horrible death sooner or later. After teleporting for the time it took for half an incense stick to burn, Qin Feng finally landed. He was surrounded by a boundless plain of white snow. There was only a tall mountain towering in front of him. When he saw the mountain, Qin Feng was extremely excited. This was the sky-reaching main peak that he had been searching for. At this time, Qin Feng was only 10 miles away from the main peak. He could reach this distance in a short while by driving the flying cloud all. Moreover, Qin Feng could sense the aura of the main peak. This was not an illusory mountain like the ones outside, but a real mountain that stood tall and erect. The flying cloud all flashed and disappeared. In a blink of an eye, it had flown 10 miles away. However, just as he was about to land on the main peak, a white light suddenly appeared in the sky and instantly teleported Qin Feng back to the previous empty space. Is this another void mountain? Qin Feng's excitement immediately dissipated. Little Pig's voice sounded, Master, this should be a real mountain, but the entrance is hidden. Qin Feng immediately tried to rush up the mountain from another direction. When he reached the summit, he encountered a formation door that suddenly appeared and teleported him back to his original position. After dozens of attempts, Qin Feng realized that there were countless formation doors hidden in this snowy land. Moreover, the teleportation point of the formation door was the same place, which was the empty space he had just entered. Facing the countless array gates before him, Qin Feng felt a headache coming on. He couldn't figure out what the almighty being who set up these array gates was thinking. Why did they have to spend so much energy and resources on such a meaningless thing? However, now was not the time to complain. Qin Feng gradually calmed down. He sat on the snowy ground and calmly sensed the fluctuations of the formation around him, trying to find a way out. Half an hour later, Qin Fun threw out a few formation flags. When the formation flags floated in the air, they outlined a few faintly discernible halos of light. These halos of light were the hidden array gates in the void. Moreover, there were a few that Qin Fun had entered earlier. After seeing the results, Qin Fun's hands continuously waved the formation flags in his hands. One by one, the array gates in the void revealed their true forms. One after another, they densely covered the entire sky. Half a day later, Qin Fun had used up all the formation flags in his storage ring, but he only managed to mark the array gates in the sky above him. These array gates were arranged in an orderly manner. At a glance, there were at least 10,000 of them. If I continue searching like this, even if I have enough formation flags, it will still take me a few hundred years to finish searching, right? Qin Fun looked up at the sky, and a trace of despair rose in his heart. Master, since someone found the sky-piercing main peak before, it means that there is indeed a way to enter the main peak. However, that method is definitely not the method that Master is using now, Little Pig said. Qin Fun's eyes lit up, as if he had found some clues. He stopped throwing formation flags into the void, and instead slowly retrieved the formation flags he had marked in the sky. The array gates in the sky began to disappear one by one, hiding in the air as if they had never been there. When a number of array gates decreased, Qin Fun's eyes shone brightly. He had already found the secret of these array gates. Swoosh! Another half a day passed. After Qin Fun retrieved all the formation flags, he instantly threw them all out again. The formation flags fell like rain, scattering in the sky. The array gates in the air once again revealed themselves, but this time a different scene appeared. After the array gates floated in the air, they quickly began to merge. From 10,000 to thousands, then from thousands to hundreds. Finally, the 10,000 arrays merged into one, forming a dazzling void light array. Qin Fun was attracted by the only light array, and his heart was filled with excitement. He knew that this array gate was the real teleportation array, and it was extremely likely that it would teleport him to the sky-piercing main peak. However, Qin Fun wasn't in a hurry to rush in. He sat on the snowy ground and appeared to be in a state of deep thought. During the transformation of the array gate just now, he had many new understandings of array formations. Array formations were actually the same as cultivation methods and martial skills. They could continuously evolve and upgrade. The scene of the 10,000 arrays merging into one was exactly the same as the 10,000 swords becoming one, which was at the advanced stage of the sword skill 10,000 swords becoming one. After this understanding, Qin Fun's thoughts opened up, and countless ideas flashed through his mind. He began to fuse the martial skills and cultivation methods he had learned with array formations. Through his deep understanding of cultivation methods and martial skills, he deduced some of the mysteries of array formations. This method gradually opened up a new door, allowing Qin Fun's understanding of array formations to reach a new height. Swoosh! After an unknown amount of time, Qin Fun suddenly raised his hand and threw a few formation flags. The formation flags appeared in the air, sealing the dazzling array gate. The light of the array gate quickly dimmed and finally became illusory, faintly hanging in the sky. So that's how it is. The corner of Qin Fun's mouth curled up. Now that he had a deeper understanding of array formations, he realized that the array gate in front of him was also bewitching. If he really entered the dazzling array gate, he might be directly teleported out of this place. Congratulations, Master. You become a level 8 immortal of array. Little Pig's excited voice sounded. Qin Fun suddenly realized that he had become an immortal of array without realizing it. This meant that the illusory array gate hanging in the sky was a level 8 immortal array. Qin Fun didn't know if there were any immortals of array still alive on the Divine Continent, but he was sure that there were no immortals of array in the North Sand Continent, South Flat Continent, and West Sea Continent. But now is not the time to celebrate. Qin Fun quickly calmed down and leaped into the array gate in the void. Buzz! The energy inside the array was extremely violent, and Qin Fen felt dizzy. Only then did he realize that the towering demon mountain that seemed to be only 10 miles away was actually tens of thousands of miles away from him. Luckily, he successfully passed through the teleportation array. When his feet found the ground again, Qin Fen realized that he was standing on the peak of a mountain. There was no snow on the summit of the mountain. Instead, it was a lush green scene. Qin Fen casually swept his gaze over and was shocked. The entire summit platform was filled with level 5 and level 6 spirit herbs. These spirit herbs were as lush as weeds. Among them, there were many level 7 and level 8 spirit herbs. Occasionally, he could even see a few level 9 spirit herbs. Spiritual herbs meant a lot to a pill refiner. After Qin Fen regained his senses, he immediately put the few level 8 and level 9 spiritual herbs into his storage ring. As for the spiritual herbs that were level 7 and level 9, he couldn't be bothered. If he really took all of them, he didn't know how long it would take. Compared to the spiritual herbs on the mountain, Qin Fen was actually more concerned about the immortal meridian under the mountain. Even if it wasn't an immortal meridian, it was definitely supported by a huge supreme-grade spirit meridian. Otherwise, how could the spiritual chi on Demon Mountain number 1 be so dense? Qin Fen immediately wanted to fly down the mountain, but his vision was stunned by the scene above him. He realized that it wasn't the sky above him, but a gray material. There was a crack on the top of the Demon Mountain, and a pillar of light shone down from the crack. What's going on? Qin Fen muttered to himself as he looked up at the spectacular scene. Master, so Demon Mountain number 1 is underground, Little Pig said in surprise. Qin Fen suddenly realized and looked up again. The crack was clearly the sky, and the Demon Mountain number 1 he was standing on was actually under the 308 mountain peaks of Demon City. This discovery was completely out of Qin Fen's expectations. He had always guessed that there was an immortal meridian or a group of spirit meridians hidden under Demon City. In the end, it was Demon Mountain number 1. Then the question was, how did such a mountain provide a spirit source? Qin Fen couldn't figure it out no matter how hard he thought about it. He simply flew down the mountain. He believed that the answer would naturally be revealed when he reached the bottom. This Demon Mountain number 1 was much higher than Qin Fen imagined. Under the extreme speed of the flying cloud all, it took several hours to descend to the bottom of the mountain. At the bottom of the mountain was an incomparably spacious plain. The ground was covered in spirit grass, and there were a few unusual fires flying around. Qin Fen had seen many unusual fires floating on the surface of a lake in the secret realm of Violet Cloud Mountains. Therefore, when he saw the fire seeds on the plain, he didn't go wild with joy or immediately chase after them. This was because these unusual fires were all pure wildfire seeds, and they were extremely fast. If the terrain wasn't perfect, it would be impossible to catch them. Master, there's a cave entrance over there, Little Pig suddenly shouted. Qin Fen had already discovered the cave entrance at the foot of the mountain. Moreover, when his divine sense swept the entire area around the foot of the mountain, he discovered that there was only one cave entrance at the bottom of the mountain that could lead to the inside of the mountain. However, before Qin Fen could enter, a strange sound came from the cave entrance. Then he saw a cloud of black mist appear, carrying with it a hellish aura of death. Chapter 2101. Master, this thing looks familiar, Little Pig exclaimed. Qin Fen immediately retreated 100 meters and maintained a safe distance from the black mist. The moment the black mist appeared, he thought of the engulfing black mist he had encountered in the Godfall Island mystic realm. It was exactly the same as the black mist before him. If the black mist here was the same as the black mist in the Godfall Island mystic realm, then he would be in big trouble. What made Qin Fen rejoice was that the black fog that floated out of the cave didn't seem to have discovered his presence. It was very likely that it was overflowing. The black fog only floated at the cave entrance for a while, then returned to the cave entrance, and this process repeated. However, because of the appearance of the black mist, Qin Fen temporarily gave up on the idea of entering the cave. He had personally witnessed the power of the black mist in the Godfall Island mystic realm. It seemed to be able to engulf everything. Even if the cultivators who had participated in the Godfall Island exploration had not had high realms, that didn't explain anything. After all, Qin Fun had already sensed a strong danger from the black mist at the cave entrance. This danger would only appear when he encountered a true form mighty. What is this place? Heaven-reaching main peak. This is the heaven-reaching demon peak. One can wear out straw sandals in fruitless searching only to find it by chance. Among the millions of cultivators in Shanghai, who would have thought that the heaven-reaching main peak of the first demon peak would be underground? Just as Qin Fun was at a loss for what to do, 5 figures landed from the sky. Very soon, someone discovered his existence. Sect leader Wu Tong, there are people at the foot of the mountain. Everyone, be careful. The man's tone was very serious. As soon as he said that, the 5 figures landed in front of Qin Fun. When they saw Qin Fun's face clearly, they were stunned. "It's you," said a green-robed elder. Qin Fun had some impression of this person. At the foot of the #1 demon peak, many people had congratulated Hong Ming for reaching the true form realm. This green-robed elder was one of them. "Who are you?" Qin Fun had only seen him before, but didn't know his identity. "I'm Wu Tong, the sect leader of the 7-star sect, Ethereal Mist sect." Actually, Qin Fun didn't care about his identity. He was more curious about how these people had come in. As for these 5 people, their cultivation levels were about the same as Chi Su and the others. They were led by a disaster transformation state cultivator, and the rest of the elders were cauldron-filling state cultivators. Such a lineup could not be underestimated, but Qin Feng did not care. "How did you get in?" Qin Feng went straight to the point. As if dissatisfied with his attitude, Wu Tong's expression turned slightly cold. "Young hero, you are able to fight against Ouyang Tian with your cultivation at the filling cauldron realm. I have to say that you are a cultivation genius. However, that battle could also be considered an opportunistic one. If it wasn't for Hong Ming's help, you wouldn't have survived against Ouyang Tian." Wu Tong said some baffling words, but Qin Feng was very clear what he meant. He was establishing his might. "You don't have to worry about my strength. You still haven't answered my question." Qin Feng's expression turned cold. "You don't need to worry about how we will enter this place. It's rumored that there are countless treasures in this main peak. Let's mind our own business and walk our own paths." Wu Tong expressed his attitude. Actually, the moment they saw Qin Feng, Wu Tong and the others felt apprehensive. They had personally witnessed Qin Feng's blade slash and could move freely in Ouyang Tian's territory. An evil cultivator. They didn't want to have a fierce battle. However, the cultivation resources in the main peak were too tempting. Wu Tong didn't want to hand them over to Qin Feng. It could only be said that these people's thoughts were wrong from the start. Qin Feng never thought about monopolizing the resources in the main peak. His main goal was the Immortal Meridian underground. However, he realized that the Immortal Meridian didn't exist at all. Moreover, there was the engulfing black mist blocking the cave entrance. Qin Feng was even hesitating whether or not to enter the cave. If Wu Tong and the others had a better attitude, he might tell them the secret of the black mist. However, he didn't have the mood to do so now. "If you want to enter the cave, then go. What does it have to do with me?" Qin Feng said indifferently. The 5 of them were stunned. They didn't expect Qin Feng to be so easy to talk to. They even secretly circulated their true yuan, thinking that a huge battle was about to happen. "Do you mean what you said?" Wu Tong was still a little guarded. Qin Feng sneered and said, "What's there to lie about? This main peak isn't opened by my family. Do I have the authority to order you guys to leave?" The 5 of them were stumped. What Qin Feng said was very reasonable. They felt awkward because they had lowered their status the moment they entered the cave. That's for the best. Otherwise, if we really fight, it's hard to say who will be the winner. Wu Tong said ruthlessly. He wanted to pick up some of the face he had lost. Qin Feng didn't care about him at all and looked into the distance. Wu Tong's lungs were about to explode. He was, after all, the sect master of a 7-star sect. His status was high up in the entire demonic city. Why had he suffered such humiliation? "Lord Sect Master, let's hurry up and enter the cave." One of the elders seemed to have seen Wu Tong's anger and hurriedly advised. He was deeply afraid that a battle would break out. "Oomph, let's go." Wu Tong glared at Qin Feng coldly again. After that, he flicked his sleeves and left. The five of them leaped and disappeared into the bottom of the mountain. However, just as they entered the cave, a few terrified screams came out. "Ah, there's an ambush in the cave. What the hell is this? My arm is gone, and so is my body. Where's my head? Save me. Lord Secmaster, quickly save me." The cries rose and fell one after another. They came and went quickly. The cave had already returned to normal. It was as if nothing had happened. However, after a few seconds, two blood shadows flew out from the cave. The reason why it was called blood shadows was because the two of them were drenched in blood. Their clothes had long disappeared. Their skin was torn and their facial features were gone. It was already impossible to tell who was who. However, Qin Feng was still able to distinguish their identities from the aura on their bodies. One of them was the Lord Secmaster of Ethereal Mist Sect, Wu Tong. The other was a peak stage cauldron filling state cultivator with the highest realm among the four elders. Even though Qin Feng had already guessed this result, he was still shocked when he saw the scene with his own eyes. The black fog in the cave was even more terrifying than he had imagined. Even peak stage cauldron filling state and disaster transformation realm experts didn't have any room to resist. They had only entered for a few seconds, and they were already devoured into a state that was neither human nor ghost. Although Wu Tong and the Grand Elder were still alive, they felt that they were better off dead than alive. They tried their best to escape from the cave, but their bodies were already entangled by the black fog. It was as if every few seconds, parts of their bodies would dissipate in the wind. It was as if they were fossils that were being blown away by the wind. "Young hero, quickly save me," Wu Tong said towards Qin Feng. He no longer had the arrogance and dissatisfaction from before. After Qin Feng came back to his senses, he immediately left on his flying sword, putting aside the fact that he didn't have high hopes for Wu Tong and the others. Even if Wu Tong was his good friend, Qin Feng couldn't do anything in front of this terrifying black fog. Secmaster, that grandson definitely knew that there was a monster in the cave. He was tricking us. The peak stage cauldron filling state elder roared. Wu Tong originally wanted to ask for Qin Feng's help, but when he saw that Qin Feng had already disappeared, he was furious. "Even if we die, we will drag him down with us." The two of them immediately chased after Qin Feng, leaving behind two trails of black fog in the sky. Their bodies had already been completely devoured, and there were only two golden rays left in the black fog. "You want to kill this daddy? This daddy won't let you have it easy either. You crazy bastard, you actually released the black fog. You will become the eternal sinner of the entire West Sea continent. You will be spurned for 10,000 years. Ha ha." Qin Feng no longer had the mood to care about the words of the two. He immediately took out several formation flags and threw them into the sky, wanting to quickly repair the broken formation door. Chapter 2102. Luckily, Qin Feng had reached the level of an array immortal not long ago. The array door in front of him was a level 8 immortal array, so it wasn't a problem for him. When the several array flags rose into the air, they immediately drew out the shape of the sky-splitting array gate. These array flags were originally refined using precious materials and spirit stones. The rich spirit chi from them poured into the cracks on the array gate and quickly repaired it. The collapsed space started to disappear. It seemed to have been teleported to an unknown place by the array door. Qin Feng heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he saw two waves of black mist suddenly rush towards him. "Little grandson, Grandpa will die with you." There was a crazy roar from the black mist. It should be Wu Tong's voice, but even his voice had been swallowed by the black mist. Wu Tong and the peak cauldron filling state elder had obviously been lying in wait for a long time. They flew towards Qin Feng one after the other. By the time Qin Feng realized the danger, there was already no way out. He didn't hesitate at all. He immediately swung the ruler in front of him and slapped behind him at the same time. When the dazzling blade ray rose into the air, there was a loud sound. A large cloud of black mist dissipated. The peak cauldron-filling state elder's nascent soul shattered and dissipated. At the same time, a scorching flame rose behind Qin Fun. It was like a blue sun rising slowly. This flame brought with it a bone-piercing chill that instantly froze the black mist behind him. One could see the silky state of the black mist in the ice layer. It was a spectacular scene. Wu Tong's remaining nascent soul struggled in the ice layer. After reaching disaster transformation state, the nascent soul formed at the cauldron-filling state would mature. Wu Tong's nascent soul was in the shape of a half-grown baby now. It was shining with golden light as it struggled in the ice layer. This is the Heaven Fire Ice Heart Flame. You obtained the Ice Heart Flame from the Nine Heavens Snow region. Wu Tong's nascent soul expressed a shocked aura. The instant it saw the Ice Heart Flame, countless thoughts flashed through Wu Tong's nascent soul. He suddenly realized something. The pill poison in the body of the Black Demon race's Red Ming Demon King had been removed by Qin Fun. Even Hong Ming had been able to reach the true form realm because of Qin Fun. It was said that the Black Demon race had invited a true form realm almighty to take charge of the battle outside the second demon mountain. Otherwise, even if Hong Ming had reached the true form realm that day, he wouldn't have been able to resist the combined attack of a dozen top sections. Wu Tong's nascent soul looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. He had already guessed that the legendary truth realization state powerful being was this unassuming young hero. Rumble. A loud explosion suddenly sounded. When Wu Tong realized this, his nascent soul suddenly exploded. This explosion was equivalent to releasing all of his disaster transformation stage for cultivation. Violent true essence fluctuations shook the sky, and a layer of ice shattered, causing a rain of ice to fall. Whoosh! A mid-stage disaster transformation state cultivator died. A cloud of black mist appeared in the sky and quickly flew towards the top of the mountain. No, master. Before Wu Tong died, he left behind a strand of will. He wanted to rush out of the formation door with the devouring black mist, Little Pig said anxiously. Qin Fan also realized that something was wrong with the situation, but just as he was about to make a move, the black fog had already collided with the sky, splitting array door. A loud bang shook the sky, and the array door, which had not been completely repaired, cracked again. Several cracks, as thick as a pinky finger, appeared. Damn it! The black mist has flown out. Qin Fan screamed, but it was too late. By the time he flew to the sky, splitting array door, the black mist had already disappeared. Originally, Qin Fan was very excited after finding the sky splitting array door, but because of the devouring black mist at the cave entrance and the sudden situation, he didn't even have the mood to continue exploring the cave. Crack, crack, crack. Faint cracking sounds came from the sky splitting array door above his head. Qin Fan realized that the array door was still cracking, and it was clearly not caused by the black mist. It seemed that someone was attacking the array door from the other side. Before the first wave subsided, another wave arose. Qin Fan was about to go crazy from this continuous situation. He immediately threw array flags into the void and tried his best to repair the sky splitting array door. If this array door was really broken, the consequences would be unimaginable. But things didn't go as he wished. There seemed to be countless powerful cultivators attacking together outside the array door. Although they were tens of thousands of miles away, Qin Fan could still clearly feel the violent true essence fluctuations brought about by each attack. Half an hour later, Qin Fan couldn't hold on anymore and vomited several mouthfuls of blood. The void array flag he had set up instantly shattered, and a deafening explosion rang out from above his head. A ferocious, true essence poured in with a momentum that could destroy heaven and earth. The array gate exploded, and the entire sky reaching main peak shook from the explosion. As soon as Qin Fan landed, he stepped on his flying sword and hovered in the air. He didn't have time to check his injuries at all. He simply swallowed a pill to consolidate qi and nourish blood, and looked at the sky splitting array door. Countless black shadows entered from it, like a rain of people. Sect Leader Su, this is the sky splitting array door. We're in luck. Amazing. It's really amazing. Who would have thought that the sky-splitting array door is actually underground? So many people have come in. Even if there are countless treasures in the sky-splitting array door, there is not enough to share. Disciples of the evil moon cult, listen up, quickly enter the sky-splitting array door. Qinfen glanced around. There were at least thousands of cultivators who came in. Some cultivators were filled with emotions, and some were immersed in excitement and joy. However, there were also many sect leaders who had already rushed down the demon peak with their disciples. Qinfen suddenly came to his senses and immediately flew into the air to stop them. Fellow Taoists, there are ferocious monsters in this mountain. I advise everyone to leave this place quickly. The noisy crowd suddenly quietened down, and thousands of pairs of eyes stare at Qinfen. There's actually someone here. Who is that person? Why does he look so familiar? It's him, the young hero who caught the eye of the Red Tea Demon King's beloved daughter. When someone revealed Qinfen's identity, a strange aura floated on the mountain peak. The shocking battle at the foot of the first demon peak not long ago was still fresh in everyone's minds. Qinfen's Songqi strike was dazzling and enchanting, and it even caused space to collapse. Brother, I am the sect leader of the Starlight sect, Dao Qi. You came in with Senior Red Tea, right? Why don't I see Senior Red Tea? A white-robed old man shouted from afar. His body was surging with true essence. He was a peak disaster transformation stage mighty figure. Qinfen immediately said, Senior Red Tea, and I separated halfway. They didn't come in. Now is not the time to talk about other things. Everyone, leave this place quickly, or you will die. Hearing that Hongming didn't enter the heavenly peak, many sect leaders heaved a sigh of relief. Actually, many experts on a mountain peak could see that Qinfen was only at the first stage of the Ekiana Cauldron Realm. Previously, when he fought with Ouyang Tian at the foot of the first demon peak, he had used tricks. In that battle, Hongming was the main attacker. Now that Hongming wasn't here, some people didn't take Qinfen seriously anymore. Young hero, on account of your relationship with Senior Red Tea, we don't want to make things difficult for you. It's better if you move aside. The sect leader of the Starlight sect, Dao Qi, shouted. Since these cultivators were so lucky to find the heavenly peak, how could they leave so easily? Everyone stared at Qinfen coldly. It seemed that if Qinfen dared to say anything to stop them, they would charge at him together. I'm not stopping everyone from entering the cave. It's just that there are really terrifying monsters in the cave. Not long ago, the sect leader of the ethereal sect, Wu Tong, and the 4 great elders entered the cave. They were instantly engulfed by the monsters inside and are now dead. Qinfen knew what these cultivators were thinking. However, everyone didn't believe him. They thought that he wanted to take all the cultivation resources in the heavenly peak for himself. Someone suddenly shouted, Everyone, don't waste time with him. He most likely wants to wait for Hongming to come. If Hongming really comes, we really won't have a chance to enter the main peak. This reminder ignited the fighting spirit in many cultivators. Dao Qi's body was already surging with violent killing intent. He glared at Qinfen and shouted, Don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. No matter how powerful you are, how can you defeat over 1,000 of us? Qinfen was speechless. No matter where, it was the hardest to be a good person. However, before he could say anything, a series of screams came from the foot of the mountain. The screams were extremely tragic, and everyone who heard them had goosebumps. Someone has entered the cave. Everyone, don't care about that brat. Let's charge down together. If he dares to stop us again, we'll join forces and kill him. Dao Qi roared. The flying sword under his feet pulled out a white light and disappeared from the sky above the peak. Under his lead, over 1,000 cultivators flew around the heavenly peak on their swords. It was a scene of immortals flourishing. Qinfen knew that he couldn't stop this disaster by himself. However, he still followed the crowd and charged down the mountain. Just as he landed, he saw over 10 clouds of black fog surging out of the cave. It was as if demons had escaped from hell. Everyone, quickly stay away from the black fog. Otherwise, only death awaits, Qinfen said anxiously. However, No one paid attention to him. Some cultivators didn't believe him at all. Most of them were stunned by the scene in front of them. For a moment, they lost their ability to think and react. There were heart-wrenching screams coming from each cloud of black fog. Everyone's curiosity was piqued. They wanted to fly into the black fog to see what kind of monster was hiding inside. How could it be so cruel and vicious? Everyone, don't be afraid. This is just some poisonous gas. It might have a corrosive effect. As long as you wear armor, you'll be fine. A late-stage body condensation realm old man suddenly rushed into the black fog. He was wearing a low-grade, true artifact armor. The 4 disciples who followed him also wanted to go in. However, before they could get close to the black fog, they heard the elder's screams coming from inside. "Oh, my hand is gone and my leg is gone." This is not corrosive gas. It's a type of devouring worm. The old man's screams made people's hearts palpitate. After he entered the black fog, no one could see his figure anymore. Even when their divine sense swept into the black fog, it was completely blocked and disappeared. Devouring worm. Is this the #1 devouring worm of the divine supreme continent? Starlight sect leader Dao Chi's expression changed drastically. When he said the words devouring worm, the cultivators at the foot of the mountain all showed a look of terror. Save me, sect leader. My essence spirit is going to be eaten by the worm. Everyone, run for your lives. This really is a devouring worm. It could devour everything. Even truth realization state cultivators would die for sure. Chapter 2103. It was a mess at the foot of the mountain. Some cultivators tried their best to escape to the top of the mountain, while others flew down from the top. Dao Chi and the sect masters have found the main peak too. Where are they going? The cultivators who just entered were confused. Dao Chi didn't have the mood to answer. The flying sword under his feet sped up, leaving a white light in the sky. Huh, why are they running? Isn't this the main peak? I know. They found treasures in the mountain. They're afraid of being robbed. So many cultivators found treasures? Looks like the legend is true. There are countless treasures in the main peak of Devil Mountain #1. Let's hurry up, or all the good stuff will be taken. The already chaotic main peak became even more chaotic because of the new cultivators. Qin Fen quickly shouted, "Everyone, leave this place immediately. There are devouring bugs in the cave." Qin Fen felt a lingering fear at the mention of the devouring bugs. According to the introduction of the spirit bugs in the system, there were tens of thousands of spirit bugs on the Divine Supreme Continent, and the devouring bug ranked first. It was named Devouring Bug because the other spirit bugs on the Divine Supreme Continent couldn't withstand a single blow from it. There were even rumors that the devouring bug was an insect that flew from the immortal world. Whether the rumors were true or not, the devouring bug's power was passed down by the cultivators on the Divine Supreme Continent. This type of spirit bug was rare, but anyone who saw it would see death. There's a devouring bug here? Really? Are you stupid? Why would you believe a bastard lie? This must be fake news to trick everyone to leave. Huh? What's that black fog at the foot of the mountain? There are people screaming inside. No one believed the truth. Qin Fen risked his life to persuade them for a long time, but only a small number of cultivators stood on their swords and watched from the sky. Most of them rushed to the foot of the mountain as if they had gone mad. When they reached the foot of the mountain, they were stunned by the scene in front of them. There was a thin layer of black fog on the vast plain at the foot of the mountain. Hundreds of cultivators were shrouded by the black fog, and their bodies were disappearing bit by bit. What happened to those cultivators? Why did their bodies disappear into thin air? Oh my God! I saw a disaster transformation state senior disappear from head to toe. Even his nascent soul was gone. There really are deity-devouring bugs at the foot of the mountain. This black mist is made up of countless deity-devouring bugs. Qin Feng had explained the situation long ago, but no one believed him. They insisted on discovering the truth themselves, but by the time they realized the danger, it was already too late to escape. Black fog constantly drifted out from the cave entrance. Because the plain at the foot of the mountain was vast and boundless, The black fog became very faint after it dispersed. It was so faint that it was almost unnoticeable to the naked eye if one did not look carefully. Many cultivators didn't know that they were in the black fog. Only when the armor on their bodies disappeared and their hands and feet were swallowed did they realize what was happening. Everyone, don't panic. Hurry up and counterattack. If this black mist is really formed by spirit insects, then there must be a way to kill them. A cultivator who flew down from the top of the mountain roared. The people who were struggling in the black mist suddenly woke up and immediately used their cultivation essence to counterattack. Blades and swords flashed. Most of them were fire attacks converted from cultivation essence, wanting to burn these spirit insects to death. However, the attacks were useless. Some blade chi warships even accidentally injured other cultivators. As for fireballs and ice, they disappeared instantly after being shot out. They were eaten by the deity devouring bugs. These bugs are too terrifying. Everyone, let's run. A bunch of ignorant fellows. Those are insects from the immortal plane. How can we cultivators from the world of cultivation destroy them? Your attacks will only enrage the immortal devourer insects and cause everyone to die even faster. A few disaster transformation state, tertiary stage, powerful beings were furious. It seemed they knew more about the deity devouring bugs. Seeing that even disaster transformation state, Qianbei, started to run, the rest of the cultivators didn't have the mood to search for treasures anymore. They all rushed towards the top of the mountain. Heaven-reaching main peak? I finally found the heaven-reaching main peak. A black figure leaped into the sky above the peak, his body surging with quintessential essence. It was a true form mighty cultivator. The truth realization state, powerful being's face sunk. He realized he wasn't the first to find this place. Insect Brad, is this the heaven-reaching main peak? The truth realization state cultivator was confused. He grabbed in the air, and an escaping body condensation state was caught by a steel hand. It's Ouyang Tian Qianbei. After recognizing the other party's identity, the body condensation state cultivator trembled. Stop talking and answer my question. Ouyang Tian's face was cold. The body condensation state said quickly, Ouyang Tian Qianbei, this is indeed the heaven-reaching main peak, but there are deity-devouring bugs in the cave. Many cultivators have been devoured by them. Everyone is running for their lives. Deity-devouring bugs? So there really are such bugs on the divine monarch continent. Ouyang Tian exclaimed. The body condensation state saw the greed in Ouyang Tian's eyes and was shocked. Did Ouyang Tian want to catch some bugs to feed? Ouyang Tian really had such a plan. He scanned the gray scene at the foot of the mountain, and his eyes flashed. How many devouring bugs were there? If he could get them all, he would become the #1 in West Sea State. Ouyang Tian Qianbei, I've told you everything I know. Please let me go. Seeing the black mist float towards the top of the mountain, the body condensation state cultivator was anxious. Ouyang Tian's face went cold, and he exerted force. The void steel cultivation essence giant hand suddenly closed and crushed the body condensation state cultivator. Noisy, that cultivator's companions and the sect leader of the sect rushed over. Seeing this, they were furious, but after recognizing the appearance of the murderer, they were so frightened that they immediately changed the direction of their flying swords and fled. Haha! This trip to the first demon peak was not a waste. Not only did I find the heaven-reaching main peak, I also found the legendary immortal bugs. Once I find a way to get them, I will be able to dominate West Sea State in a few years. As the group of cultivators frantically ran for their lives, Ouyang Tian stood at the top of the mountain, fantasizing about a beautiful future. He was not in a hurry to go down the mountain. He just wanted to wait for these ants to escape first. After that, the entire sky-piercing peak would be his territory. However, not long after, the smile on Ouyang Tian's face disappeared. His eyes stared at a cultivator flying up the mountain, and he suddenly roared, Aoya, this ant is not dead yet. This time, I will crush your nascent soul with my own hands. His roar echoed above the main peak, but Ouyang Tian had already disappeared. When he appeared again, he was blocking Qin Feng's way. That hideous face was scarier than a beast. It is not that easy to kill your grandfather. You came at the right time. This will be your burial ground. Qin Feng had already sensed Ouyang Tian's aura with his divine sense. When Ouyang Tian appeared in the void, Qin Feng didn't hesitate to slash out with his saber. The ash-colored ruler rolled up a wild true essence hurricane that soared into the sky like a giant dragon. Rumble. A loud sound echoed. Ouyang Tian's figure was long gone. The purple light hit the peak and completely shattered the formation door. The formation door was like a barrier. The moment it shattered, thousands of cultivators rushed out like a flood. The black mist at the foot of the mountain also sensed it and began to rise faster. Seeing that his attack missed, Qin Feng immediately stepped on his sword and flew away. However, before he could fly more than 1 kilometer away, he suddenly felt a strong magnetic fluctuation around him, causing his movements to slow down. Qin Feng was very familiar with this magnetic chef's aura. It was undoubtedly Ouyang Tian's domain. Qin Feng hurriedly released his punishment and barely regained some of his mobility. Huh? An ant like you dares to think about killing me? How pitiful. Ouyang Tian's domain instantly spread and almost covered half of the mountain. Even the fleeing cultivators slowed down and looked at the rising black mist with fear and trepidation. Are you sure you want to fight with me here? When the devouring immortal insects catch up, you and I will be swallowed until nothing is left. Qin Feng was anxious. Ouyang Tian didn't care and said with a smile, Haha, these ants are afraid of ape insects. Do you think this old man will be afraid of those insects? Even if they're the legendary immortal insects, there's still insects in this old man's eyes. I don't know how many of them I can kill with one palm. Qin Feng thought that Ouyang Tian really had a way to deal with the devouring immortal insects, but now it seemed that this guy was too arrogant. Very good. I will let you taste the power of the devouring immortal insects. I hope you don't die too quickly. Qin Feng immediately burned a mouthful of blood essence, and the true essence in his body surged. He slashed out with his saber, and the purple light cut a small crack in the field. Although only a trace of saber chi flew out, it caused a violent explosion on the mountainside. That slash was aimed at the immortal insects in the mountain, cutting the black mist that covered the mountain in half. The black mist instantly merged again as if nothing had happened. However, this slash enraged some of the devouring immortal insects. Several clouds of black mist flew toward Qin Feng at a speed not slower than the flying sword. You, an ant, still want to break my domain? I advise you to stop struggling. If you kneel and kowtow to admit your mistake now, I will consider leaving your corpse intact. Ouyang Tian didn't realize the danger behind him at all. He was still looking at Qin Feng with a playful expression. Qin Feng showed a pitiful expression. He curled his lips and said, You still don't know when you are about to die. How sad. Who are you calling sad? Good. Let's see how long you can keep your mouth shut. Ouyang Tian was furious and slapped with his palm. However, his expression changed greatly as he slapped with his palm. The palm that was originally aimed at Qin Feng suddenly changed direction and slapped behind him. A gigantic palm covered half of the mountain. True essence surged in the palm, stirring up strong winds and huge waves to blow away the black mist. However, the black mist instantly condensed again and penetrated the true essence palm print, surging toward Ouyang Tian. Remember the website, Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 2104. However, the black fog showed no signs of dissipating or weakening. In fact, the black fog became even thicker, as if it was about to drip black water. A hint of panic appeared on Ouyang Tian's arrogant expression. Without waiting for the black fog to envelop him, he immediately sent out a few more palm strikes. Loud sounds rang out. However, this kind of vital essence attack was completely ineffective against the immortal insects. Even if the black fog was temporarily blown away, it would quickly gather again. What the hell is this? Are the devouring immortal insects so powerful? Ouyang Tian was so depressed that he felt unwell. He thought that with his power as a true form realm cultivator, he could destroy the little insects in the sky with one palm strike. However, when it really happened, he doubted if he could kill a single insect. Before the danger in front of him was resolved, a wave of vital essence came from the sky behind him. When he turned around to look, half the sky was dyed with a brilliant purple light. The scene was extremely illusory, and if one was not careful, they would sink into it. Not good. You ant, do you think you can sneak attack me? In just an instant, Ouyang Tian woke up from his trance. He sent a palm strike towards the sky, and the vital essence giant hand blocked the sword light that filled the sky. That palm print was simply covering the sky and earth, and it could rapidly expand as it flew forward. When Qin Fun was about to retreat, he was already sent flying by the palm. Fortunately, Ouyang Tian could not free himself to launch a follow-up attack. After he repelled Qin Fun, he immediately went to deal with the rapidly approaching black fog. However, Ouyang Tian had a strong vital essence, but he could not do anything to this black fog. When the palm print landed on the black fog, it was as if it hit cotton. Damn little insects, you better not provoke me. Otherwise, I'll burn you all to death. Ouyang Tian quickly retreated, and at the same time, he sent out another palm strike. This time, it was not a ferocious vital essence palm print that floated in the air. Instead, several balls of black flames whizzed out. The flames were extremely black, and they carried a scorching temperature and a dark aura. If Qin Fun saw this black flame floating in the sky, he would definitely recognize that this was the Earth Fire Black Lotus, ranked 58th on the Divine Continent. Elder Su of the North Sand region's Four Directions Tower had subdued one in the Black Lotus Valley. Whoosh! When the Black Lotus appeared, the fire instantly surged, and it looked like a huge fire was burning a mountain. Many of the fleeing cultivators were stunned by the might of the earth and fire. They stopped in midair and even forgot to run for their lives. However, they were instantly engulfed by the black fog. The color of the Black Lotus was similar to that of the black fog, and they instantly merged into one. It was unclear whether it was the fire that swallowed the black fog or the black fog that swallowed the earth fire. However, Ouyang Tian had already started laughing maniacally. He was extremely confident in his ground fire Black Lotus, which was also one of his trump cards. Previously, when he fought with Qin Fun and Hong Ming at the foot of the #1 Demon Mountain, he didn't even take out the Black Lotus. It was clear that he still had many reservations in that battle. However, his complacent mood did not last for more than a few seconds before Ouyang Tian's expression changed drastically. A strong sense of impending death quickly emerged, crawling all over his body like vines. Ouyang Tian had forgotten how long it had been since he last felt the threat of death. Even when he fought with Qin Fun and Hong Ming not long ago, he only felt danger, but definitely not death. Crack! Crack! The next moment, Ouyang Tian found the source of death. He found that his body was unknowingly covered by the black fog. That black fog was not the ground fire Black Lotus at all. He could not find any trace of the ground fire Black Lotus in the air. He had no idea where it had gone. As for the cracking sound in his ears, it was the upper-grade true treasure armor on Ouyang Tian's body that began to crack. The speed of the cracking was extremely fast. When Ouyang Tian completely reacted, the upper-grade true treasure had already turned into nothingness. What a ferocious insect! As expected of an insect from the celestial realm, Ouyang Tian exclaimed. Only now did he truly value the devouring celestial insect. Ouyang Tian didn't dare to be careless and immediately burned a large mouthful of essence blood. A silver flying sword appeared under his feet and flashed with silver light in the sky. Shwa! In just a moment, Ouyang Tian had already flown 100 miles away. There was still some black fog on his body, so he immediately burned his clothes and flew away on his sword again. After a few teleportations, the black fog on his body finally disappeared. Ouyang Tian let out a long sigh of relief. He felt like he had just survived a calamity. At the same time, the cultivators on the Heavens Connecting Peak had either escaped or died, and the scene of the celestial realm at its peak could no longer be seen. After some adjustment, the chaotic true essence in his body calmed down a lot. Waves of black fog floated over from the valley he was in, and he could not stay here any longer. Qin Feng immediately flew away on his sword. When he returned to the sky above the heavens connecting peak, Qin Feng saw a scene of black fog covering the sky. The massive mountain peak was covered by black fog, making it look like an azure hell. There was an aura of death everywhere. Qin Feng already had thoughts of leaving. Not only was there a threat from the devouring celestial insect, but now Ouyang Tian had appeared. However, just as Qin Feng was about to jump through the formation door, he suddenly realized that the formation door had been accidentally destroyed by a sky ruler attack. Now, there was no formation door in the air, and the escaping cultivators could not teleport away. They all flew away on their flying swords. Originally, the sky splitting only covered a small area, and it was just enough to illuminate the heavens connecting peak. Now, the sky splitting began to expand, and the gray sky gradually brightened. It was as if the dark clouds had dispersed, revealing the original sky. Qin Feng did not think this was a good thing, because the bigger the sky splitting became, the more the black fog in the mountain peak would spread. Moreover, now that the formation door had been destroyed, who knew where the black fog would go after it spread out? If it spread to Shanghai, or even the entire West Sea continent, then the thing Qin Feng was most worried about would really happen. Master, hurry up and leave. If you don't escape, you'll be finished. Qin Feng stared blankly at the top of the mountain. Little Pig's anxious voice sounded in his mind. Little Pig, do you know what the devouring celestial insect is afraid of? Qin Feng suddenly asked. Master, what do you want to do? The devouring celestial insect here has already matured. It's 100 times more powerful than the insects in the secret realm of Fallen God Island. With Master's current cultivation, there's no way he can fight against it. Little Pig had a bad premonition. Reality proved that Little Pig's intuition was right. Qin Feng said, I want to go to the cave and take a look. Since these devouring celestial insects live in the cave, they must have a nest. I want to destroy the nest. Master, are you crazy? Little Pig exclaimed. Qin Feng had already made up his mind. He said in an unquestionable tone, although I didn't raise these devouring celestial insects, I released them. If all of them really fly to Shanghai, then Shanghai will become hell. I have to think of a way to prevent this disaster from happening. Little Pig rolled his eyes and said, Master, now is not the time to play the hero. Besides, even if you want to play the hero, you should play the hero and save the beauty. Then, the beauty will repay you with her body. But there's no beauty here right now. Chapter 2105. Qin Feng, cut the crap. Is there a way or not? Seeing that Qin Feng was serious, Little Pig could only say, Master, the celestial devouring bug is a bug from the celestial world. There are almost no magic treasures in the cultivation world that can deal with it, unless it's something from the celestial world. Something from the celestial world? Qin Feng immediately thought of the few items from the celestial world on him. The immortal stones, the tree of life, and the life immortal armor. The tree of life couldn't be taken out of the astral world, so Qin Feng eliminated it. He immediately put on the life immortal armor and rushed to the foot of the mountain with the 2 immortal stones in his hands. Damn, someone dares to fly down the mountain? Are my eyes playing tricks on me? It's a young hero that Hong Ming took a fancy to. This guy really isn't afraid of death. He dares to fight a true form realm mighty figure and ignore the black mist devouring. Who is he? You guys are still in the mood to care about that guy? Talk if you can get out of here alive. Qin Feng could no longer hear everyone's discussion. He instantly rushed into the black fog, and the sound of teeth grinding rang out beside his ears. Even the celestial devouring bugs were shocked by Qin Feng's actions. The black mist paused for a moment and then surged towards Qin Feng. At that moment, Qin Feng finally saw the true face of the black mist. It was formed by countless black flying bugs, just like the blue flame formed by the ice spirit bug he had encountered in the 9 Heaven Snow region not long ago. However, The celestial devouring bugs were smaller than the ice spirit bug. They weren't even 1/10 the size of a pinky. These bugs were completely black and made of an unknown substance. They were translucent like jellyfish in the sea. The tiny grinding of teeth came from these celestial devouring bugs. It seemed to be a special sound produced by the friction between them and the air when they flew. However, Chinfin quickly realized that this wasn't a simple sound of wind. It was a powerful magnetic field created by the celestial devouring bugs using their spiritual consciousness. It could paralyze a cultivator's thoughts. Before, Chinfin hadn't noticed the effect of this sound. Now that he was in the black mist, he felt like his brain was about to explode and his spiritual consciousness was in a stabbing pain. Chinfin was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. If he really sank into this sound, he wouldn't even need to wait for his body to be engulfed. His sea of consciousness would be destroyed first. At this moment, he deeply understood the terror of the devouring immortal insects. These insects would first destroy a cultivator's consciousness and then devour them unscrupulously. This was a good idea. He stayed behind to destroy the nest of these insects. Since he couldn't find the cave entrance, why not just raise the mountain to the ground? That way, the nest would naturally be destroyed. With this idea in mind, Chinfin immediately took action. Although he couldn't find the cave entrance in the black fog, he could still find the position of the mountain peak. As the flying sword continued to rise, the black fog gradually faded. Several hours later, Chinfin reached the top of the mountain again. When he looked down at the scene below, he felt as if he had fallen into hell. Rumble. Without hesitation, he slashed with his sword. As the ruler fell, a beautiful purple light was drawn from the mountain peak. The sword energy collided with the mountain peak and created a loud sound. The mountain peak was harder than Chinfin had expected. His full-force attack only shattered a piece of mountain rock. If he continued at this speed, he probably wouldn't be able to split the mountain peak even after a year. Master, just use the 100-mile light sniper to blast it, Little Pig suggested. Chinfin had already thought of using the sniper, but his heart ached to use it. The sniper's energy slot was filled with the lightning tribulation triggered by Hong Ming's breakthrough. This kind of true-form lightning tribulation only appeared once every few hundred years. Chinfin had originally saved it to save his life, but now that he had no other choice, he could only use it to blast the mountain. When he took out the 100-mile light sniper and the heaven bell, Chinfin couldn't help but laugh. Using true-form lightning tribulation to split the mountain? In the entire Divine Supreme Continent, he was probably the only one who could do such a thing. Rumble. The trigger was pulled. Several lightning bolts, as thick as a person's waist, exploded on the mountain peak. The power of the true-form lightning tribulation was indeed powerful. It wasn't something that Chinfin's all-out attack with the ruler could compare to. The towering mountain peak instantly split open. A small part of the mountain peak fell down, but there was no loud crash. This sky-piercing main peak was immeasurably high. Even if Chinfin used all his strength to activate the flying sword, it would take him several hours, let alone the time it took for the mountain to fall. For a moment, thunder rumbled and lightning bolts crisscrossed. The mountain peak shook violently from the explosion. Huge rocks tumbled down. It was a scene of destruction. Chinfin couldn't care less about the true-form lightning in the energy slot. The lightning tribulation's finger never loosened from the trigger. A few hours later, the entire sky-piercing main peak seemed to have become a lightning mountain. Lightning bolts flowed on the mountain, creating layers of sparks as they collided. The mountain peak gradually became shorter. When more than half of the mountain had collapsed, the lightning source in the energy slot was used up. Chinfin immediately put away the 100-mile light sniper and swung the ruler again. The purple sword energy merged with the sea of lightning, creating another fierce explosion. Rumble. Another few hours later, an earth-shattering sound came from the valley. Chinfin stopped attacking. The flying sword under his feet cut through the air and instantly rushed underground. The black fog at the foot of the mountain was extremely thick, as if water was about to drip out. This time, Qin identified the position halfway up the mountain and adjusted the direction of the flying sword. Suddenly, there was a loud noise. Qin felt that he had broken through some obstacle. When he opened his eyes again, the scene in front of him changed greatly. He was actually in a small cave abode. "Where is this?" Qin muttered to himself. Little Pig's voice sounded in his mind. "Master, this seems to be the real bottom of the mountain." Qin had already probed with his divine sense. Soon, he found that Little Pig's guess was right. He was now standing under the sky-piercing main peak. However, the sky-piercing main peak no longer existed. It was completely destroyed by the explosion. Even the hidden cave abode where he stood was affected. Rocks tumbled down from the stone walls. As for the cave ceiling, it had been blown open and connected to the sky. Immortal stone array? Qin gaze was attracted by a formation platform in the depths of the cave. His expression changed greatly. He immediately flew over and found that there was a hidden small cave abode inside. In the small cave abode, there was a floating formation platform. On the formation platform, there was an immortal stone compass. There were hundreds of immortal stones on the compass. This scene was exactly the same as the immortal stone array in the Purple Cloud Mountain Range. Moreover, around the floating compass, there were 9 spirit crystal pillars. There were also 4 blooming phoenix flowers floating above 4 spirit marrow ponds. Qin remembered that the cave abode in Purple Cloud Mountain Range also had spirit marrow ponds and phoenix flowers. Phoenix flowers were one of the extremely precious level 9 spirit herbs. They could be used to refine tribulation initiation pills and demon phoenix pills. There was no record of the demon phoenix pills' effects. However, there was a record of the tribulation initiation pills' effects. That was a miraculous pill used by peak cauldron-filling realm experts to break through to the disaster transformation realm. It could weaken the bottleneck and greatly increase the success rate of breaking through. There was also a record that the phoenix flower was a necessary formation flag for the Great Sky Demon Array. As for what the Great Sky Demon Array was for, there was no record of it. Qin suddenly thought of Chu Fan's writing that he found in the 9 Heavens Snow Domain cave abode. It recorded the secrets of the Eastern Field Continent's Kobe sect of the Divine Supreme Continent. According to Chu Fan, the Kobe sect had a mysterious inheritance technique. They had branches in all 4 continents. They were carrying out a secret operation that no one knew about, trying to seal a world. Now that he saw the immortal stone array in front of him, Qin believed Chu Fan's words more and more. The North Sand continent has a celestial stone grand formation, and the West Sea continent also has a celestial stone grand formation. From the looks of it, these formations all came from the same faction, and that faction is most likely the East Field Continent's Kobe sect. These people really want to seal an entire world. Qin was shocked by this fact. He couldn't understand the thoughts of the Eastern Field Continent's higher-ups. Even if they wanted to unify the Divine Supreme Continent, they didn't have to seal a world, right? If that's the case, wouldn't they be unable to ascend to immortality themselves? Chapter 2106. Unable to ascend to the world of immortals? Qin didn't believe it. Every cultivator on the Divine Supreme Continent wanted to ascend to the immortal realm. Even though most cultivators knew that they would never be able to ascend to the immortal realm in their lifetime, ascending to the immortal realm was their spiritual belief. It was also the motivation for them to persevere on the arduous road of cultivation. However, the Kobe faction in the East Field Continent had indeed set up an immortal stone formation. This completely defied the logic of ascension. Qin felt that something was wrong. After pondering for a while, his eyes suddenly lit up and he looked incredulous. "Master, maybe your guess is right." Little Pig could read Qin's mind. But this doesn't make sense. If the higher-ups of the Kobe faction have already stepped into the world of immortals, then setting up a sealing formation to prevent others from ascending to immortality would be an unnecessary move. They could easily use their strength to suppress the entire Divine Supreme Continent. Moreover, rumor has it that when ascending to immortality, one would break through the void and enter the world of immortals. Then how did the immortal venerables of the Kobe faction return to the divine supreme continent? Many thoughts flashed through Qin Fun's mind, but he couldn't figure it out no matter how hard he racked his brain. Master, don't think about anything else. Look at the 4 spirit marrow pawns. Little Pig exclaimed. Qin Fun immediately looked over and was stunned by what he saw. This immortal stone formation's spirit quintessence pond was different from the Violet Cloud mountain range. The Violet Cloud mountain range's spirit quintessence pond was used to grow phoenix flowers, but this spirit quintessence pond was filled with celestial devouring insects. The celestial devouring insects in the spirit marrow pond were as big as a thumb, and they had mouse on top of their heads. They looked extremely terrifying. So this is the nest of these insects. They've occupied the immortal stone formation and are using the formation's energy to grow. Qin Fun muttered to himself. Little Pig quickly said, Master, I don't think it's what you think. You mean? Qin Fun's expression changed. A terrifying thought flashed through his mind. I don't think the celestial devouring insect has occupied this place. It has always been here. Someone has been specially cultivating this kind of insect. I suspect that the 4 phoenix flowers in the Great Sky Demon Formation exist to raise the celestial devouring insect, Little Pig said. Qin Fun knew that the South Flat Continent's Immortal Gorge sect had done this before. They kept hundreds of species of spirit insects in the 10,000 Insect Valley and threw out bait to the outside world to trick cultivators into entering the 10,000 Insect Valley to become food for the spirit insects. However, Qin Fun was still surprised to hear that someone was raising a celestial devouring insect that ranked first on the Divine Continent's spiritual insect list. Especially after witnessing the insect's powerful devouring ability, Qin Fun felt that it was unrealistic. It was extremely difficult to control the insect, and the person who raised it would be swallowed by it if he was not careful. However, when he thought of the 4 spirit essence ponds in the Violet Cloud Mountain in the North Sand Continent, Qin Fun hesitated. He didn't find the celestial devouring worm in the spirit essence ponds, but the spirit essence ponds, the phoenix flowers, and the Great Sky Demon Formation all existed. According to Little Pig's deduction, there was only one possibility. The celestial devouring worms in the Violet Cloud Mountain had been taken away by the old monster who sealed them in the cave mansion. Qin Fun gasped when this thought popped up in his mind. The old monster who sealed the cave mansion in the Violet Cloud Mountain's secret realm had an unfathomable cultivation base. If he took away a batch of celestial devouring worms, wouldn't he be invincible on the Divine Continent? Master, these are all just speculations, but Master can verify the authenticity of this speculation, Little Pig said. Qin Fun understood what Little Pig meant. He shifted his gaze to the Great Sky Demon Formation floating in the air. This formation had reached the level of a level 9 ancient formation. With Qin Fun's current formation skills, he couldn't break it, but temporarily stopping the formation's operation was not a problem. Several formation flags were thrown out, and a huge formation net appeared in the air. This Great Sky Demon Formation was densely arranged, and the lines crisscrossed like a spider's web. Qin Fun didn't plan to destroy the entire formation's operation. With his current formation skills, he could only circle a very small part of the Great Sky Demon Formation. By destroying the operation of the key formation eyes, he could temporarily shock the entire formation. Fortunately, while Qin Fun was breaking the formation, the celestial devouring worms in the 4 spirit marrow ponds didn't pay any attention to him. These more mature flying worms seemed to have no interest in cultivators. Soaking in the spirit marrow ponds was as comfortable as soaking in a hot spring. 2 hours later, a loud noise came from the small cave mansion. One of the small formation eyes of the Great Sky Demon Formation was broken. Dense spiritual energy floated out of the 4 spirit marrow ponds and surged into the air. The celestial devouring worms that crawled all over the ponds were startled. They turned into 4 black hurricanes and rushed into the air. It turned out that the flying insects had flown to the formation and were densely packed together, forming a large spirit insect net. Qianfen finally saw the full picture of the Great Sky Demon Formation. In just the time it took for an incense stick to burn, they had swallowed the 4 spirit marrow ponds dry. Damn you! How dare you eat Grandpa's cultivation resources? Grandpa wants you dead. In his anger, Qianfen didn't care so much. He slashed the Songqi towards the celestial stone compass floating above the formation platform. Then he slapped several balls of heavenly spirit sunflower fire. In an instant, the cave mansion was engulfed in flames, and the compass emitted a faint cracking sound. Qianfen hurriedly put away the 8 phoenix flowers and the 4 spirit marrow ponds in the cave mansion. Baidu search for the novel website of Yunlai Pavilion, allowing you to experience the latest and fastest novel chapters. All novels are updated in seconds. Chapter 2107. The cracks on the immortal stone compass intensified. Suddenly, with a muffled sound, the huge compass exploded into pieces. The celestial, devouring insects in the cave abode finally woke up. They made strange noises. Though they didn't have facial expressions, Qianfen could clearly feel their rage. "Master Un," Little Pig said urgently. Qianfen immediately rushed out of the cave on his flying sword. Before he left, he put away the immortal stones that flew out of the compass. For black tornadoes followed behind him. They were the celestial devouring insects that flew out of the 4 spirit pith ponds. These larger celestial devouring insects clearly had a high status. When they flew out of the cave abode, the insects outside were shocked at first, then they immediately followed behind them. The majestic main mountain was gone. The plains that used to be covered in spirit grasses had turned into ruins. As soon as Qianfen rushed out of the cave abode, he took out the flying cloud and turned into a white light that disappeared into the thick black fog. 3 days later, Qianfen looked at the blue sky behind him and heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that the celestial devouring insects had really been shaken off. He hurriedly found a deserted valley and prepared to go into seclusion. This exploration of Devil Mountain No. 1 could be considered as a treasure in the midst of danger. Not only did he collect 4 phoenix flowers, but he also obtained 4 brand new spirit quintessence ponds. Most importantly, he obtained over 100 immortal stones. Qianfen found that immortal stones were also divided into grades. The immortal stones he got from the cave abode in 9 Heaven Snow region were of a much lower grade. The immortal stones used in the immortal stone formation were of a higher grade. In fact, when Qianfen saw the cave full of immortal stones that Xu Fan left behind, he even suspected that there was an immortal stone formation there too. But now, it seemed that it wasn't the case at all. Qianfen entered the astral space. He had a strong desire to break through. After this trip to West Sea Continent, he realized that his cultivation level was still too low. If he could reach disaster transformation state, he wouldn't have to run away from Ouyang Tian and the others. Under the tree of life in the astral space, there was a strong breath of life. Qianfen sat in a spirit pith pond. Under his feet was the intersection of 3 spirit veins. The immortal stones were placed around the pond. The strong spirit chi and immortal chi mixed together. It made people feel like their dantian was about to explode after taking a deep breath. Rumble. In less than half a day, a muffled sound came from Qianfen's body. He had successfully stepped into the 2nd level of the cauldron filling state. Because breaking through in the astral space wouldn't trigger a lightning tribulation, Qianfen had no intention of stopping. He circulated the first 2 parts of the fortune of heaven and earth skill with all his might, and the true essence in his body surged endlessly. When Qianfen opened his eyes again, he discovered that the spirit origin in the 4 spirit quintessence ponds had been used up. More than half of the immortal stones around him had been used up. There were only 40 to 50 pieces left. He didn't have the time to feel distressed about the resources he had consumed. He immediately looked at his own body, and when he felt the surging true essence in his body, even he was shocked. Congratulations, Master. He's already at the peak of the cauldron filling realm. Little Pig's excited voice rang out. Qianfen immediately sent out a palm strike towards the void. The air exploded, and half of the sky seemed to shake. A giant Zhun Yuan hand appeared, and with an indomitable momentum, it rushed out of the area where Qianfen's divine sense could not detect it. Rumble. After the time it took for half an incense stick to burn, there was a loud noise in the sky. It felt like the sky was falling. Qianfen was shocked. This should be the sound of the palm strike from before. It wasn't that Qianfen hadn't seen experts at the peak of the cauldron filling realm, but compared to the strength of his true essence, those so-called peak of the cauldron filling realm were like ants. They couldn't even withstand the power of one palm strike from him. So what if they were at the peak of the disaster transformation realm, let alone the cauldron filling realm? Qianfen felt that with his current cultivation level, he could still beat them. Qianfen gradually recovered from the joy of breaking through, and his face immediately became serious. He thought of the devouring celestial insects that flew out of the main peak of sky-reaching mountain and the immortal stone formation that he broke. Oh no, I don't know how long I've been in seclusion this time. Could Demon City have already ceased to exist? Thousands of miles away, Demon City. The city was in ruins, and it wasn't difficult to see that a huge battle had occurred. The once blue sky was gray. Upon closer inspection, it wasn't because black clouds covered the sun. Instead, it was a black fog formed by countless flying insects. In just 3 months, the black fog has occupied the central city on the periphery of Demon City. Now, only the 308 demon peaks are slightly safer. However, the demon peaks won't be safe forever. When the array on the peaks is broken, we'll still die. Outside Demon Peak number 2, millions of Demon City cultivators had gathered. The foot of the mountain and the sky were densely packed with people. Hong Ming, the Thunder King, and the rest were also among the crowd. Now that they were facing a great enemy, they put aside their personal grievances. True Form Seniors, Demon City is facing a calamity that is not seen in 100 years. I hope that mighty seniors can step forward and lead the millions of Demon City cultivators to resolve this crisis. True Form Seniors, please help. Everyone at the foot of the mountain shouted in unison, their voices resounding through the sky. Hong Ming and the rest looked at the gray sky with extremely grave expressions. It wasn't that they didn't want to shoulder the heavy responsibility, but they were helpless against the celestial devouring insects in the void. If they waited for these monsters to invade the demon peaks, even they could only wait for death. Everyone, please calm down. We're not just sitting back and not doing anything. We just don't know where to start. Heaven Demon Sect leader Nie Yuan used his quintessential essence to transmit his voice. His loud voice could be heard within a radius of 50 kilometers of Demon Peak number 2. What? Even True Form Seniors can't do anything? It seems that Demon City is really going to be destroyed. Sect leader Nya, you're the only senior in Demon City who has reached the level of Formation King. Please lead the Heaven Demon Sect disciples to set up a level 7 defense formation to stop the celestial devouring insects from invading, someone shouted. Many cultivators agreed with this suggestion. To them, the level 7 King formation was extremely powerful and could definitely stop those insects. However, Nie Yuan had a bitter expression as he looked up at the sky and sighed. Everyone, it would be great if the level 7 King formation could stop those immortal insects. Everyone still doesn't understand how powerful the celestial devouring insects are. Those are insects from the celestial world. They probably don't have any natural enemies on this cultivation continent. Even if I set up a defense formation, the formation would be eaten by the immortal insects bit by bit. Eaten a level 7 King formation? This was the first time everyone had heard of such a thing. They all looked extremely terrified. Nie Yuan sighed again, but he didn't say anything else this time. The area below Demon Peak number 2 fell into silence. There were 1 million demonic cultivators gathered, but it felt lifeless. At this moment, a figure flew over from the sky. Before he landed, his furious voice drifted over. These devouring celestial insects originally appeared in the sky-reaching peak. They were all released by an ant, and that ant is the man Hong Ming's daughter has taken a fancy to. That ant is the enemy of the entire demonic city. Everyone looked up at the sky and saw a white beam flashing over. Someone had already recognized the person and exclaimed, "It's the clan leader of Spiritual Mountain's Ouyang family, Senior Ouyang." Seeing Ouyang Tian appear, Hong Ming's face instantly turned cold. He still remembered the battle below Demon Peak number 1 3 months ago. At that time, Hong Ming had just been injured in the battle with the Thunder King and the rest. He had joined hands with Qin Fun to barely suppress his opponent. However, now that he had mostly recovered, he was no longer afraid of Ouyang Tian. "Old thief with the surname, oh, what nonsense are you spouting?" Hong Ming was enraged in front of everyone. Qin Fun was his and the Black Demon Clan's great benefactor. He couldn't allow others to frame Qin from behind his back. Almost half of the group of cultivators who had been lucky enough to enter the heaven-reaching main peak had died inside. Even the few cultivators who had managed to escape did not return to Demon City. Those cultivators had seen the celestial devouring insects fly out of the heaven-reaching main peak. They had long expected that Demon City would be destroyed. Now, there were very few cultivators who knew that Qin Fun had released the celestial devouring insects. Only Ouyang Tian dared to say it in front of everyone. He looked at Hong Ming coldly and said, "Old dog Hong Ming, I, Ouyang Tian, have always been a man of my word. There's no need to badmouth others behind their backs. That day, your aunt's son-in-law broke the array door above the heaven-reaching main peak and let the celestial devouring insects fly out. I wasn't the only one who saw this. Many cultivators were present. The crowd became restless. A black figure leaped into the sky and landed beside Ouyang Tian. Senior Ouyang is right. It was Hong Ming's son-in-law who released the celestial devouring insects. I brought people with me to stop him, but we failed." The person who stood out was the Starlight sect leader, Dao Qi. Qin Fun had advised Dao Qi and the others to leave the heaven-reaching Demon Peak, but they didn't listen. In the end, the Starlight sect's elders died, tragically under the black fog. Dao Qi blamed this anger on Qin Fun. He didn't dare to say it, because he was wary of Hong Ming's powerful cultivation base. Now that he had Ouyang Tian's support, he immediately stood out. Fortunately, Qin Fun wasn't here. Otherwise, he would have killed this fellow with a single slash. Such an ugly face would only be a scourge on the divine continent. No matter what Ouyang Tian and Dao Qi said, Hong Ming didn't believe their nonsense. He knew Qin Fun's character very well. Although Qin Fun had a murderous nature, he was also a person who could distinguish right from wrong. He definitely wouldn't kill the innocent, and it was impossible for him to release the celestial devouring insects on purpose. However, Hong Ming's belief was useless because the millions of demonic cultivators under the second Demon Peak had already determined that Qin Fun was the culprit. Everyone had been suppressing their anger, and now they were venting it on Qin Fun. "Hong Ming, shouldn't you give everyone an explanation?" The Thunder King said coldly. It was obvious that he hadn't completely put aside his personal grudges. Nie Yuan and the North Nether Mountain sect leader, Demon Lord North Nether, also looked at Hong Ming with malicious intent. If they could destroy Hong Ming before the calamity of Demonic City, it would be a satisfying thing. Everyone, stop arguing. Now that Demon City is facing destruction, what's the point of arguing about who's right and who's wrong? If we don't come up with a countermeasure soon, we'll all die sooner or later. Demon City's #1 rogue cultivator, the Dark Demon, Jinbei, shouted coldly. The few of them stopped arguing. Just as Jinbei had said, what's the point of arguing about who's right and who's wrong now? The entire Demon City was about to be destroyed. When that time came, everyone would be swallowed up. Not even bones would be left. There would be no story left on the Divine Continent. Baidu search for the novel website of Yunlai Pavilion, and you could experience the latest and fastest novel updates. All the novels were updated in seconds. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.